FHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital. Your pet, their passion. For happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins'. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Oh, welcome to it. A stream-only edition of Old School for the foreseeable future. Royals and Rangers about halfway home at Kauffman Stadium. Game 4 of the series. Royals got up 4-1. Some well-placed balls by Texas fell in. An error from Bobby Witt Jr. had the Rangers tie the game at 4. In the fourth, Royals respond with a solo home run from Vinny Pasquantino. 4 homers, I think, in his last 6 games and on the 10-game homestand. Royals lead at 5-4 in the top of the 6th. We'll be with you on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Allo Channel 961 until the Royals wrap up the win. And then we'll, of course, switch back to the terrestrial radio feed. I'm Austin Oerman, joined, as always, by Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman. Jay, it's official. 7 days away. It's game week. It's game week. We're here.
Yeah, it's what, 29 hours? Right? Because the game's at 8 p.m., right?
8 p.m.
Yeah, so it's 3. 29 hours. Kickoff and kick ass.
We can say that since we're on stream.
Yeah,
we can't dump
we're on stream. Hey, man, if anybody out there sees Terrell Farley, you tell him I'm looking for him.
Farley knows exactly what he did, by the way. This is not unprompted.
Yeah, he knows I'm looking for him.
Farley said something to your face, and then he split.
Yeah.
He knew there's a chair in your way. Couldn't quite get off your block.
That's going through like some cut blocks and something, man. But yeah. Yeah, it's a week away, man. It's look, it is what it is. I mean, this is what you work all season for, and you go through spring, dog days of summer, training camp. Hey man, it's it's an exciting time. There's anxiety. You have your patience is wearing thin because you're close, and so there's a lot of emotions that you go through, and you want to make sure the biggest thing is you always got to kind of reel yourself back into let's handle whatever we got going on today and maximize today. Whether weights, meetings, extra time. This is not a time to sit back and enjoy the free time.
No lake days. No lakes.
Nope.
No chilling.
No.
You're a week from game time, man.
Oh no, that's out your system. Now it's you locked in. This is you on a video game, and this is your first mission. I mean, it's look, man, it's the last time they played, they won. They were able to get 7 wins total when counting the bowl game. They were able to, win 6 games to get to a bowl, become bowl eligible. And so now okay, that's the ceiling of the floor, or whatever an analogy that that's the worst it can be, right? And maybe shouldn't even be 6. Maybe it's 7. So now let's just take that and run with it. And nobody cares how many freshmen play, seniors play, or whatever. Everybody just cares about you going out there and playing your best, and that's what you got to do is go out there and do it for yourself and your teammates and your family and coaches and all that.
1 week away from Nebraska and Cincinnati down in Arrowhead. We'll, of course, have people down there at Blur Tailgate. They've got a great event going on down in Kansas City. Looking forward to partaking in the usual festivities down at Blur. Believe it is the Husker game on Thursday, and then Husker night at the Royals the very next night. So I wonder how many Husker fans will be
over weekend,
sticking around for that, make a Kansas City weekend out of it. Could be really big for the city of Kansas City with the droves of Husker fans coming in. Cigar Guy wants to say, hey, I want to thank you guys for doing your regular shows on YouTube and the app when there's baseball on. Cigar Guy, of course, we are here for you. And that's what we want people to remember is if you're not interested in any of the games we carry, obviously right now it's very heavy into baseball. Of course, that will be wrapping up here probably sooner than later with the Royals still on the outside looking in of the playoffs. But as DP and I talked about yesterday, never say never, never say die. Royals will have a chance. But even after the Royals are done, whenever that is, we'll bring you college football games of the week. A lot on Saturday, right? Huskers are playing between our pregame and our postgame. We'll have a college football game for you. We'll have NFL games, right? The triple header, the Sunday afternoon, Sunday midday, and then Sunday night games come your way here on the ticket. Monday night football, Thursday night football. We have it all here on the ticket. Of course, home for the Lincoln Stars. Looking forward to continuing that partnership, I believe, moving forward into the future. But if that's not your cup of tea, not what you're interested in, always make sure you're tuned into our app, probably live on socials anyways. So if you're not interested in the games, hey, guess what? We will have local content for you. And if you are interested in the games, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you for your support in making all of that possible. Again, 402-464-5685. You want to be a part of the show. Jay, we were going to talk some Huskers to lead things off today, but I think it's important to get to some of the breaking news out of college football.
Break bread. You know what he did. Break bread.
That's Pat Fitzgerald.
Break bread.
Former head coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. He and the school officially settled today. So Pat Fitzgerald was fired in July of 2023. Parties are not disclosing the specific terms of the settlement. Rumor has it it's in the neighborhood of $130 million. At least that was one of the initial requests from Pat Fitzgerald and his agent. How about this, Jay? Big paragraph from Northwestern in their press release. While the litigation brought to light highly inappropriate conduct in the football program and the harm it caused, the evidence uncovered during extensive discovery did not establish that any player reported hazing to Coach Fitzgerald or that Coach Fitzgerald condoned or directed any hazing. Moreover, when presented with the details of the conduct, he was incredibly upset and saddened by the negative impact this conduct had on players within the program. Think about how quick a leash they had on him from administrative leave to firing him, just to find out he legitimately didn't know.
Yeah.
Both sides agree that he didn't know and that players didn't come to Pat Fitzgerald about it.
Phew.
And you fired the best head coach in program history, almost without a doubt.
Iconic player, too.
Iconic player,
A
alum of
Chicago
the
guy,
university,
too,
a
right?
Chicago guy through and through. You let him go to save your face.
Man.
It's tough.
Yeah, that's impulsive. It's impulsive. Now, there was probably some pressure from the outside, but I would have probably just let him sit out a year. And
But that's your dude.
I would have sped up this investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what type of locker room they had. I don't know whoever came up with that's who I want to talk to. Or the guys. Because generally, they're probably hanging out. Hey, let's do this. This will bring us together. Oh, no, it won't. Yeah, it would have been Crime Dog McGruff. I would have been taking a bite out of crime. hey, they'd be like, we got to leave that freshman alone. He crazy. Yeah, come on in here. Yeah, you want to mess with me? Oh, yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, you're going to come running up out that room real quick. Yeah, it's. Now, I'm sure there. The one thing I think it helps Fitzgerald, number one, with that statement. He got a lot of that money.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where people don't understand is like, it's not, I'm joking about it right now, but it's not funny. I mean, he's got kids, he got a wife and kids, and they had to go to school at I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm. Probably still in the area.
Yeah. Well, why would he leave? And he's had to deal with it. And if this is all true, which let's just take it for it. I shouldn't even say if. So let me just.
If Northwestern is saying this is true, it's one thing for Pat Fitzgerald to say, well, when the school is saying.
Right. So let me take it back. And I know it's kind of like, all right, if we come out together, then, you might take a haircut off that 130, but really they wouldn't have came out with it because the school wants to save money.
Yeah.
They want to point the finger.
Always.
Him having this black cloud over him in his coaching career probably dilutes his playing career there. Now I'm glad he's had his day in whatever. And I'm sure he first of all, as a coach, I'm sure you feel bad that there's some guys that, because some of the stuff they were doing, like, look, we had like quote unquote hazing, but it really wasn't. It was just part of the deal. It wasn't like bad, like where you traumatized.
It wasn't degrading,
right? Some of the stuff they were doing. I said it at the very beginning. I find it hard that a player went to him and said, "This is what we're doing."
Mm-hmm.
I've only met Pat twice. And talked to him once extensively. One time was just, hey, enjoy watching you play, all the whole that stuff. I might have been fooled or whatever. So, for him, he's able probably to go get another job, or if he wants to choose the coach. It's something that's always gonna trail him, which sucks, right? It is, because every time that when he goes to, say he decides to go coach at Maryland. Or let's see where else.
He feels like a MAC guy to me.
No, he coming back with vengeance.
You think he gets
Vanderbilt
Power 4 right away? I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Does he take over for Stoops at Kentucky?
No. Say he goes to Stanford. Let me go get some sun. Northern California.
Oh, I really
smart
like
guy,
that.
smart university. Now I don't know if Andrew Luck would hire him, considering the last guy who's there, but it would be a good fit because they know the
ins and outs, yeah.
Right? And it's kind of comparable. So he's there. Even though he's having his day or week right now, when he goes, if he chooses to keep coach or to go, because he's way too young not to coach now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say when he does, and he didn't know, right? It's going to be in the ESPN article or whatever when he, whatever it is, Stanford, when they introduce him. So that's what sucks, and that's what sucks about the whole situation. It got completely out of hand, right? It was obviously way overboard. I think you had some guys on the team that never been in that position before, and it was, it was way out of control. I've never been in a locker room where guys did that. That would not have been going on. First of all, you would got punched in the face, or it would have just not got. I mean, it would have been handled differently. Now the times are different. And then also with the university, hopefully they learned something, I guess due process. But then you have the third parties like, well, you're paid to know. Yes and no. I said this all the time about being a head coach. You are this is just my opinion. You are the guy. He's the face of Northwestern as a player, as a coach.
In a lot of ways, the whole school. Probably the most visible, well-known dude.
Yeah, him and
Wilbon.
Michael Wilbon.
Mm-hmm.
You got some other guys too, but for Fitzgerald first,
right?
If
you're polling sports fans,
yeah,
it's those two.
It's Fitzgerald,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially in this day and time, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the things that you think about, even though you are the king or the emperor, is everything that you do has to be for, in his case, the whole student body, the whole faculty, the whole athletic department.
Mm-hmm.
The last person that you can think about is yourself. The flip side of that, right? That's your job, or that's how people are going to hold you accountable. On the flip side of that, which sucks, is that somebody that you're making the right decision for, or you hired or whatever, will then make a decision that will not only come back on you, which then comes back on everybody else. Because you got to only think in, one of the student athletes or whoever came up with it or whoever kind of blew it off. It's no different than the Penn State situation. Not only did they get fired or they graduated, but then Fitzgerald got let go. Everybody in that football department is probably gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know the head coach, stayed, but still, the coach. Like when people always want to, fire a coach. And sure, there's coaches that I've said, say they probably time to move on. You always I grew up in the coaching business. Jerry Burns is a family friend of mine. I've seen it. I've been in meetings. I know what it's like. So you got to be very hasty when you do that. But then on the flip side, I'll say this. I'll say this all the time. And this is about the Browns. I know we're not talking. Well, you got some news coming out of the Browns for this weekend's game. If whoever takes over the Browns, the next coach, not everybody they have good players on their team. Not everybody in there is a bad scout. Not everybody's a bad faculty member.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever takes that job, you don't need to fire everybody. You need to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
Same thing that would happen in Northwestern. You got to do your due diligence.
That is the first part that I ended up looking at, trying to remember what was going on above Pat Fitzgerald's head at the time. Jay, this was 3 years after Jim Phillips left to go be the commissioner of the ACC.
Yeah.
Now, the guy that replaced him, Derek Gregg was his name, was the athletic director then from 2021 to 2024, moved into a vice president for athletic something role beyond that. And Gregg had been an athletic director before, right? It wasn't like it was his first gig. But I would wonder if I was Pat Fitzgerald, man, what if Jim Phillips had still been my AD at this point? What if he had said, nope, sorry, ACC, appreciate it, I'm going to stick around? Would Jim Phillips have had the ability, with as long as he was at Northwestern, as much respect as he had, to maybe slow the brakes, to probably still put Fitzgerald on administrative leave, but say, Pat, you and I are close. We have to look at this as independently as we can.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to bring the hammer down. I don't want to drop the axe. We're putting you on administrative leave. You can't be associated with the program until this is over. But essentially kept him on retainer. Instead of, this new guy comes in. I'm sure this was above his head too. Nope, this looks bad. We got to get rid of him. And then have to walk it back. It was maybe the right decision at the time with what we knew. But I wonder if Jim Phillips would have maybe tried to slow play it. It kept Pat Fitzgerald around however he could, so that, if he was confident in Pat Fitzgerald, clearly Pat Fitzgerald was confident in what he knew and didn't know, that, they could have moved on and had him back maybe in time for this 2025 season.
Yeah, you could have. And he would have probably been okay with it, because you probably could have worked out a in-between negotiation. You would have liked to expect that, hey, dude, you've been here essentially since you've been 18 years old.
Yeah.
So I'm trusting you now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He was 55 at that time.
Yeah.
So 37 years you've been essentially associated with Northwestern football. I'm going to take you out at your word.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what we have to get done. And then therefore it's actually to protect you this university that you love, and obviously me as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then go, forward there. I also think sometimes, you've been an athletic director before, but if you've been an athletic director at a place like Northwestern, that is different. It's different. It's no different. And then you go from,
Greg had been at Tulsa and then Eastern Michigan before that, and then senior associate athletic director at Arkansas.
right. But all of them are different than Northwestern.
Wildly.
Northwestern is heavy academics, very wealthy.
Mm-hmm. And he started his career at Vandy. Greg did. That's where he played football. Just closer, but that was 20 years before.
Yeah, it's 20 years before. But Northwestern at that time was on the uptick. And even though the football team had done well, the basketball team, I think, was starting to come around. But the thing is that you have to understand, Northwestern probably tends to try to carry themselves at a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And so he probably was a little bit too quick to try to appease people. But then also, I think that's probably when he probably took that other job because he's like, yeah, I'll probably get fired when this comes out. He probably realized, oops, I made a mistake. Is there a right way to handle it? Probably not, because when you have that much pressure and those stories coming out, it's very hard for people to understand, especially when they would go off to that camp or whatever, like team bonding thing,
mm-hmm.
that you don't really know. Now, listen, when you have 120 some guys on the team, head coach doesn't know all that stuff because they probably keep secrets, and there probably was some sort of unwritten rule that you can't tell the coach. Now, there's other things that went in there, as far as some of the African-American offensive linemen and stuff like that. And he probably could have, and he tried to address that where he started to interview other coaches that were qualified that he maybe didn't before, right? Now, so you're trying to address some things to make your team better. That has nothing to do with the hazing stuff. So
mm-hmm.
it's, I'm happy for him, that he got his name cleared. That there's no winners here because this is going to be trailing him for a while. And then, you're going to still have people that, listen, that student reporter, they did a heck of a job now.
To get that story?
There's still some bumps on it. That's on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He got a little bit over his skis. Not to this stuff to that magnitude, but there was probably some things that he probably, I guess, got away with for, some of the things, and they were little things, but still there's things that he probably is like, all right, I can't be doing that next job. So I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what the fallout is.
David Braun is not exactly on, stable ground right now. Really good debut year. Slid back last year.
You can't hire him back.
Is there any chance? No chance Pat Fitzgerald can come back? I mean, don't forget, David Braun was supposed to be the defensive coordinator for Pat Fitzgerald.
Do you think he wants to come back?
I don't know. That's what I'd be curious to hear, because I love your Stanford idea. That makes almost too much sense. I think that would be, about as hand in glove fit as you could get for Stanford at this point.
Yeah.
But is there some little part of Fitzgerald that, like you said, associated with the university for 37 years? The guy that fired you is gone, essentially, not your day-to-day boss. You have a new field coming in. You're a Big Ten guy. I'm not saying he can't make it work on the West Coast.
Yeah,
maybe it's better for Pat Fitzgerald to just go out to Stanford, try to make it work out there. But maybe it's best for Pat Fitzgerald to wait it out, maybe be a position coach, right? David Braun hires him as the linebackers coach, as associate head coach. Maybe that'd be really scary for David Braun, young head coach.
Yeah,
and that's probably a bridge too far. So to me, it's less about what Pat Fitzgerald wants and more what does Northwestern want? Do they want to, try to wait it out, hire him back as a, oops, sorry, our bad, we got you? Or, hey, you're the only guy that's made it work here. You're Greg Schiano for us, essentially, but even better.
It might be in a couple of years.
Yeah, but he can't afford to wait that long. Now that he's clear, he's got to get back in the game, doesn't he?
No, I think he can wait. He's got enough respect in college game. He can wait.
Just go take a linebacker's job somewhere till Northwestern pops open.
Man, you just got $100 million. I'm going. He needs to go and just go places and just pick up on schemes and sit in and learn about this NIL and rev sharing and all that. So when he goes to an interview, he has it all set.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go coach and be no position coach. You don't need. He doesn't. It's not a Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian type of deal where you got to do like
the The rehab tour, the press tour.
No, he'll be all right. He'll definitely be able to go somewhere if he chooses to. Maybe at the pro level, be a D coordinator. But I think also, I could see him maybe going back to Northwestern. But I think he has enough respect for Braun, is that he's not gonna push him out when he was gonna hire him. I mean, that was like making 3 bad decisions after Northwestern made one. And maybe he just wants a clean slate and really get away. I mean, it would be easy to go back because I'm sure he can drive down the facilities with his eyes closed, but it'd be hard to go back because of some of the, scar tissue.
Yeah.
But
unless he doesn't care and it cuts through because it's Northwestern.
They would have to amend some. Well, the guy that fired him probably needs to get. That's the only way he's coming back. So I think right now he's probably, exhaling. Probably going to take some time and try to figure out what he's going to do. You got all season to kind of go around and do the tour of different places and get the, good feeling back in your name. Maybe do an interview, sit down or whatever, or just kind of let it, go by the wayside. And then therefore you surface when you take another job. It might be associate head coach so people can see you and then, go on to another school. Heck, you might end up at Wisconsin in a couple of years.
That'd be gross.
So I don't know. I mean, I think
ideal for Nebraska is Rob Dvorak gets a coordinator job somewhere and Pat Fitzgerald linebackers coach. That's nothing against Rob Dvorak, right? I mean, he's been on the 30 under 30s and whatnot, but
yeah. I mean, I think he's gonna be. I mean, you've always been a head coach. You've been a successful head coach. He doesn't have to go coach again. So I think what he wants to do is he's gonna try to get in a position where he can get the best opportunity to continue along, a successful coaching career. He probably thought that he would never coach anywhere else again. And so that's a lot of things that, for him to deal with. So, hopefully he gets back on his feet and gets back in the coaching kind of carousel and finds a good opportunity for him. And then he's, successful once again.
110 and 101 for Pat Fitzgerald in 17 years at Northwestern, 5-5 in bowl games. In fact, he's won 5 out of his last 6 bowl games and 4 in a row. Pinstripe Bowl, Music City Bowl, Holiday Bowl in back-to-back years, and then the Citrus Bowl win in the COVID-shortened season where Northwestern went 7-2. We'll certainly keep monitoring that situation with Pat Fitzgerald. I do really like Jay's idea of Pat Fitzgerald taking over at Stanford at the conclusion of this year. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll talk some Husker volleyball, some Husker football with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. All that and more straight ahead here on Old School.
Harvest season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change at any time without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red. Eat at Amigos and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor, and we want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in to Old School here on 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com, as well as our free app for your phone. Make sure you download that, and streaming worldwide, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're headed now to our Aloe Fiber VIP line, where we welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, happy Thursday, a day later than normal. Thanks for still making some time for us on your schedule. How are you today?
Doing great, man. It's like game week here. Finally, we've made it this far. No complaints on my end.
Indeed, 1 week and just a few hours from today, it'll be the Huskers and the Bearcats from down at Arrowhead Stadium in Kaufman. Even closer than football game day, though, Evan, is volleyball game day. Huskers have their first serve, the number 1 Huskers against a top 3 Pitt team down at the AVCA First Serve Showcase tomorrow. You recently wrote a profile, just dropped today, on Danny Busboom Kelly. Really good piece. Really recommend people get to omaha.com and check that out. It's on Evan's Twitter at Evan Bland, OWH as well. What stood out most to you, Evan, from talking to the people that were close to Danny Busboom Kelly about how her past and her upbringing really have molded her into the present job that she has right now as the Nebraska head coach?
Yeah, I kind of went into it wanting to learn about her background and, what she had done as a grade schooler growing up and all the different things that she did really well into high school. And kind of what I came to find, like, time and again, was like she had so many opportunities to do different things in life, and she always came back to Nebraska volleyball. I mean, as the story details, like, she played really high level softball around the country. She got the interest of the father of Jenny Finch, who went on to be an Olympic pitcher. And he was someone who was so impressed, he offered to fly her out to California and give her private lessons. And she said, "No, I'm doing volleyball." She could have played college basketball and was getting a lot of looks from top end schools, and said, no, I'm doing volleyball. And so that was just the part that resonated to me as I was talking with them. And I think, to bring it full circle, like, that's what she's doing now. Like, she grew up in Nebraska. Her family has deep roots in Nebraska, in the Beatrice area. She grew up loving volleyball and the high stakes, big crowds, atmosphere that went with that. And so, like, she's still choosing that. It's why she had it in her contract at Louisville, that she could leave for Nebraska specifically and only if that opportunity came about. So, like, it was fascinating to me just to see how the sport, the state have formed her. And I hope people will kind of read the story and see a lot of that Danny Busboom Kelly in the current head coach and how she operates and runs the volleyball program moving forward.
Get to omaha.com. Definitely worth the price of the subscription to read that story, with the Huskers having their first serve tomorrow. Evan, I know covering volleyball is not your primary gig. You did a great job with the piece, but as you look at this Nebraska volleyball team from the outside, with that context of their head coach, where she comes from, her approach and her upbringing, and her time at Louisville, what stands out to you about this 2025 edition of the Huskers that makes this team and this coach the right fit at the right time?
Well, I mean, it was already looking like it was going to be a powerhouse. It was very reminiscent of when John Cook took over a quarter century ago, and how Terry Pettit left that program in great position for him. So did he leave it for Danny Busboom Kelly. I mean, to the point to where so many of these position battles, at least for the number 2 spots in a lot of cases, were still playing out well into the fall. I mean, you have probably the best returning setter in the country in Bergen Riley, and you're still entertaining the possibility of going to Flynn Campbell because she's earned it too, and they might take that chance and use 2 players. Ton of depth, and outside they might have the best collection of middle blockers in the country with Annie Jackson and Rebecca Alec and on down, and so, like, when I heard players say that everything's a competition, and the way that Danny can talk to them as a former player, like, it was very much in line with what I've heard about her, and that competitive drive that goes way back for her. I mean, all the way to beating older grade schools in a jump roping competition in first grade, like stuff like that. This isn't something different for her. Like, she's been living this her whole life. She obviously brought Louisville to great heights, became a Final Four regular. So this isn't a job that's too big for her in terms of the task. It's different because of the attention and the crowds, and the passion around the program. That part's different. But I think Nebraska fans can feel good knowing that DBK has been operating a certain way most of her life, and it's produced pretty great results consistently all the way back to when she was a small town kid at Nebraska. So I think in that sense, it probably, and I hope, illustrates that she's ready for this job. It's not going to be too big for her, and she's going to want to win and keep this program at the highest level more than anybody.
You talk to a lot of family, talk to a lot of friends from grade school up through, but I think maybe an underrated part of Danny Busboom Kelly's return to Nebraska is the alumni network, right? All sorts of former Huskers that are still around in the area and involved in volleyball. We think about it in football for obvious reasons. Basketball, maybe less so. Baseball, certainly there are some people around. But Evan, I would wager that the Nebraska volleyball, alums that are there to support Danny Busboom Kelly at least rivals anything that, say, a former alum who came back to be the head coach of the football team, had at his disposal, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably true. Volleyball specifically, like, you think about the great players through the years that have come to Nebraska, a lot of them were in-state recruits, or at least Midwest recruits. And that's a testament just to the popularity of the sport within the state. The stat for a long time was that on a per capita basis, Nebraska would produce Division I volleyball players at a rate higher than anywhere else in the country. So in a lot of cases, these players had standout careers. Maybe they played professionally overseas before there were options here locally, and then they came back and lived in the area. I mean, and that's really still the case. I mean, in the Midwest and in Lincoln, there are a lot of alums and players who, were household names for a long time who are back and who are excited to embrace this next chapter because it is different. I mean, what Danny Busboom Kelly does, how she operates, her background is a little bit different than John Cook, and the players have attested to that. And Nebraska is not afraid to maybe take a few more risks and play a few more players and do a few things differently. So I think certainly the energy around the program has been very high for a long time. The sellouts, the outdoor match at Memorial Stadium, everything else, it just feels like with her arrival, with her, her background, that there's a chance that this thing could continue to go up to heights that maybe haven't been seen in the sport. So I think there's a lot of excitement, and certainly a lot of the alums are excited to be around and show their support and see where this thing can go next.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald here on our Allo Fiber VIP line. We'll switch gears to football, but off the field first, Evan, more in our domain in terms of concessions, media stands, watching the game. You, it appeared, were able to at least get a look at some of what the new offerings Nebraska football is providing will be. Did you get a chance to sample anything yesterday?
Sure did. Yeah, it was tough, but somebody had to do the work. And
we appreciate your service. I'm saluting you as we speak.
Yeah, exactly. We actually had a little food review on omaha.com too. It was fun. They had tunnel walk nachos. They have burgers with a red bun. They have the Fairberry hot dogs with the red dog, only they've added like a creamy corn sauce to it that I thought was really tasty. They have Reubens, tacos, a lot of different things. And so you think about the fare, the traditional fare that's been at Memorial Stadium for a long time. A lot of that's still there. You can still get a runza or a slice of Val's or what have you. But just the variety is way up there, and the intentionality with the marketing. I mean, some of the things that these food items come in are fun and specifically branded to Nebraska. And so you can tell, I mean, Aramark is the company that is operating it now, and they have more than 20 other college clients and I think a few professional clients as well. And so they've come in and really streamlined the operation. So I think fans are going to take notice to the different options they can have. But then I think two, some of the other things that they're implementing in terms of speed of transactions and kind of grab and go options where you can go in and maybe snag a bottle of water or a bag of peanuts or something.
Or a beer now, Evan.
Or beer. Yep. And be in and out in like a minute as opposed to waiting in a concession line. Like that's something that's different too. So if you can, anything that can alleviate some of the congestion, get fans back out to the games quicker, that's a positive. My pro tip from just having sampled some of this stuff, Austin, would be sure you bring a lot of napkins, because those nachos, some of the sauce, the corn on the cob with some of the dressing that goes with it, really tasty, but maybe not conducive to a lot of high-fiving in the stands right after a big touchdown. So maybe bring some napkins with you for that.
Wear napkins or wear your darker colors, right? No white clothing. That's probably not going to end well.
Probably not. Yeah. The sea of red, I mean, that might play in your favor with some of these more messy items. That's for sure.
That's one of the things that popped too since we last talked, Evan, was the announcement of the blackout game for Nebraska going to be dropping on November the 1st against USC. What's your confidence level that Nebraska fans will actually, stick to the theme and make Memorial Stadium a blackout on November 1st?
I mean, I think they're going to need some reminders along the way, right? Like the muscle memory is going to be to wear red and do that and do it well. So I think Nebraska is probably going to want to put out a few reminders on that. They've done some of these blackouts before, and it works to a point. I mean, it kind of becomes a red and blackout maybe a little bit. What you can usually count on in these situations is the student section to lean into it. So I think that corner of Memorial Stadium there on the southeast end, you're probably going to get a pretty good chunk of black over there, and they'll probably have some black shirt themed signs and costumes going on, especially the day after Halloween. So I expect that to be pretty fun. But yeah, I think the rest of the stadium, you'll probably see a mix of red and black, and hopefully the jerseys, they seem to look pretty cool. And so maybe, if Nebraska can go out there and break its string of maybe forgettable performances and alternate jerseys, maybe this is something that can build momentum in that way into the future.
A lot of ink, digital and physical. A lot of words have been spilled on that already, so we'll move on with an actual, somewhat related to football question. Evan, you also recently wrote about Dasan McCullough, the Indiana and Oklahoma transfer to Nebraska, his leadership role at the Jack position. From talking to him, from hearing from Phil Simpson, the outside linebackers Jack's coach, what do you think Dasan McCullough's role is going to be? Is he going to have a big part in Nebraska's plans on the field? How would you compare him maybe to a guy like MJ Sherman in a similar role last year?
Yeah, I mean, he will be in that MJ Sherman role for sure, as the Jack is sort of that hybrid linebacker, defensive lineman, defender. And I mean, he's the guy. Like, they brought him in to be the guy. What's interesting about his story, I think, is he was at Oklahoma, he was more of a rover type, or sort of maybe a back end kind of player. And he felt like his strength and maybe his NFL future is closer to the line of scrimmage. And so he was one of those maybe rarer transfers who had a lot of production at a power school and yet changed locations, betting on himself, betting on a position change. Nebraska agreed with him. To see him talk in the media room, like, he looks the part physically. He's big. He's leaned out, but in a very muscular way. Like, that's kind of the body shape you want for a guy who can drop into coverage or rush the passer or whatever it might be on a down-to-down basis. But clearly the lead guy there, you look at guys like Jordan Ochoa, who's had a pretty good camp. I think he's in that mix to maybe be the guy behind him, but sort of a smaller Jack room this year. And, McCullough comes in with a background where his family and his father and grandfather were coaches. His brothers have played and continue to play major college football. So he's been around it a long time. I think he's embraced that leadership and, what Phil Simpson likes to say, be water. It's that idea that you can shake a water bottle and then it kind of stays calm right away. Like, that's kind of what he is. And, if it were me, maybe he's going to earn that nickname Dasani for that purpose. That's just me, but we'll see how that goes. I think Nebraska has a lot of high hopes for him.
I will have to push back on that, Evan, because as fantastic as the nickname is, I believe with Nebraska still being a Pepsi school, it's Aquafina is probably going to be the way that they'd have to go for branding purposes, even if Dasani might fit better.
Yeah, if you want to call him Aquafina McCullough, I mean, that's totally up to you. But I understand there's a little bit of a conflict there, so maybe we'll just keep workshopping that one.
That will have to. On the Jack position, you mentioned the name Jordan Ochoa, maybe behind Dasan McCullough. Where does that leave a guy like Willis McGahee?
Yeah, I'm remiss to not mention him. Certainly, he's in that mix as well. He's probably your number 2 in that spot. He's moved around a little bit. I mean, he's kind of been a linebacker, defensive lineman. I think the Jack spot does fit him pretty well. He's another guy that you can kind of look at and see that Nebraska likes his pass rushing ability, and my sense is maybe he'll come out and be more of a guy that you'll see in specialty packages, maybe third and long. I think his strength, like, you think back to what he did in high school in the state of Florida, like the number of tackles for loss and sacks that he had, I mean, were just obscene. The numbers were really strong. So I think another year developing behind the scenes, Nebraska has a sense of how they want to use him, and for sure he'll probably fill more of that Prince Will Umanmielen role as sort of that second Jack, I would think, behind McCullough. So yeah, you'll expect to see him on the field quite a bit too.
Great insight there from Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald, volleyball concessions, and of course some football as well. Evan, thanks again for your flexibility. Thanks for your time. We'll catch up hopefully next week before you're on the road to Kansas City.
Sounds great. Awesome. Thanks.
That's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald joining us on our Allo Fiber VIP line. Allo Fibers, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Really appreciate them, everything they do for us here at The Ticket. I personally can attest to Allo's great service and lived in my house for 3.5-ish years now. Have never had an issue when it comes to my Allo internet. We'll go to break. When we get back, we'll bring back in Husker Hall of Famer linebacker Jay Foreman. Wrap up hour 1 of Old School. Get you set up for Thirsty Thursday and more as the show continues.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs has been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Bring new life to metal treasures with Kaiser Blasting and Coatings. From railings and fences to outdoor furniture and unique antiques, their expert team removes years of rust and weathering, then finishes each piece with a lasting powder coat. Trusted by industries across the region, now local homeowners and businesses can experience the same professional care. Visit KaiserBlasting.com or call 402-421-3559 to request your quote. Restore, protect, and make your metal shine like never before with the help of Kaiser Blasting and Coatings.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back on Old School. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. Big thanks again to Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald for his time with us here on the show. 402-464-5685. You want to be a part of things. Jay, a little bit of news out of Husker football. We'll start with the quarterback. Rumored that Dylan Raiola, reported, in fact, by Pete Nakos of On3. Dylan Raiola will be making approximately $3 million this year. That's some good backup quarterback in the NFL money right there.
Hey, he taking me out to eat. I'm like, hey, that's exactly what we're doing. We're going out. Everything's on the young man over there.
He's got it.
Yeah.
He's
either taking
well
me out
compensated.
He needs to take me out to eat. I need 10%.
Or why not both?
No, I won't tell. I just say I'd rather just get something to eat. No,
Jay, how about this? You use Dylan to pay for your steak dinner. You keep trying to get lined up. It's a double benefit for the guys.
Dylan just needs to call somewhere and say, you know what, Uncle Jay, you're going to come in there and handle some business.
Hook him up.
You know what, man?
Give him the works.
You know what? He's making $3 million. I think it's like an all-inclusive deal. I know he has a card deal, Adidas, and then the whole kind of, I don't even know how it works, NIL, rev sharing, and then the collective. You know, more power to him, man. If you can, never again will he be able to make that type of money at this age ever again. And so hopefully, he's smart, and got a good support system around him. And then more importantly, you just got to stay humble and you got to stay hungry. You got to stay consistent. And then you got to go out and actually, your goal should be, as any player that's getting any NIL money, that's whether you're getting 40,000 to 4 million. You should always want to go out there and prove that you're not only worth the money, but worth more. And you do that, then, nobody will bat an eye at it. And so, look, it's his first experience with people knowing how much money he is potentially making. It's just somewhere around that figure. Now, I will tell you this, once you level up, there's a new devil. I'll keep saying that. And now people know what you make. Now you got to make sure you're extra protective of yourself, your mental space, your mental, your mental health, or whatever you want to call it. You got to make sure that you just keep playing football, because it's what you're here to do, and just let the money do what it's doing. I'm going to tell you one quick story before we go to break and get into Thirsty Thursday. When they had USA Today, that would come out like the hard copy or the paper. They, for whatever, it is the dumbest thing ever. They would literally just put everybody's salaries in there in the NFL. You got family members. Oh, I'll see what you're making. And you know what they're thinking? This is what we making.
I haven't seen enough of that. You skimped on Christmas.
Yeah, man. All
What's
of a
up?
sudden, all of a sudden, people call and say, "Man, I need a new fence around the house." You know,
you put the blue cheese in the mac and cheese. You couldn't just pay for some
man.
professional
They
stuff.
say, "Hey, man, the water heater we need a new water heater. We need a new furnace. We need some salt and mulch." So this is his first experience with it, and I hate that they put people's business out. That's just me. Yeah. I'd like to be very private for what's your business. I don't know how they made it or whatever, and I don't know if he wanted it out there like that, but either way, it's out there. So now you just got to go out there and make your money.
And that was just too bad he didn't pick single-digit number 3 to wear this year.
No,
I'm kidding.
You want 15.
I'm kidding.
You want to make 15.
How long is it until a college player makes 15 mil? 5 years? 10 years? Will it ever happen?
It's going to bottom out. It's going to
Market's going to crash. Bubble's going to burst.
Yeah. But you know what? As long as they paying, you keep playing.
Get your money.
Yeah.
Go get it.
CTC. Collect the check.
We are going to collect a break, collect ourselves, get Kevin Myers set up for Thirsty Thursday. Lots to get to with Uncle Kev. Straight ahead on Old School.
Season is coming, and Acres has discounted many of our late model John Deere combines. Get thousands in discounts and upgrade for this year's harvest. Plus, you could save even more with interest rates starting as low as 1.9% on select units. Low interest rates combined with our huge discounts, there's not a better time to buy. Visit acres.com for all the details. That's AKRS.com. Restrictions apply. Offer ends August 31st, 2025. Subject to approved financing. Offer may change anytime without notice.
Hey fans, there's more winning at Amigos with the VIP Game Day giveaway. Every app scan is your chance to win premium tickets to a Nebraska football, basketball, and volleyball game, along with exclusive game day perks. And when Nebraska goes to a bowl, the winner also gets 2 tickets, lodging, and airfare to the bowl game. Weekly semifinalists will win free food for a year. Go Big Red, eat at Amigos, and enter to win.
Amigos is celebrating 45 years with exclusive Nebraska Legends collectible cups featuring Tom Osborne, John Cook, and some of your favorite Huskers. For every cup sold, 50 cents goes to teammates. Show your Big Red pride by getting all 4 of these collectible cups at Amigos.
This is Tom Osborne with the Teammates Mentoring Program. We have students on the waiting list for a mentor. We want you to join the team. Learn more about mentoring and support teammates by visiting Amigos.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Why wait until Friday to start your weekend?
Go ahead, start right now.
You're thirsty now, and 93.7 The Ticket is here to help you stock up.
Just in time for the weekend when I like to hit the clubs.
Time to broaden your horizons and try some new wine and beer. It's Thirsty Thursday with Kevin Meyer from Meyer's Cork and Bottle.
Nice.
That was a 9.
Love
that was a
it.
solid 9.
Nice. Whoa, whose voice is that on the other end?
Hold on.
It's Ellie! Miss Ellie!
Hit me with it.
Hit you with it? That.
Ugh.
Thursday starts the weekend,
Feels
kids.
refreshing.
It's
Kevin.
Ellie's Alley time.
Ellie's Alley time.
We're
I love it.
skeptical, but we'll see.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we kind of didn't put Ellie in training wheels. We threw her right to the two-wheel
True,
bike
we
before.
did.
So, she's grown now. She's a graduate. She's adulting, and so we're gonna continue with no more training wheels with Miss Ellie and see what this dry red wine from Argentina, the reaction that we're gonna get. But I think what we should do is do the beer first.
Understandable. Looks like it's another Oktoberfest, which is fantastic.
It is.
Love
Ellie,
it.
Kevin gave you a lot of credit for adulting. How is adulting going now that you're 3 months post college graduation?
Adulting has been. I was telling Kevin where people are going back to school, and I moved my sister into college yesterday, and it was
They grew up so fast.
They grew up so fast. It was just so weird that people are going back to school, and
And you don't have to.
I don't have to. Life stays pretty much the same, besides the weather changes, and you just go on about it. So I like adulting just so I don't have to think about having to write another paper, but also adulting costs money, and adulting is adulting for the rest of your life.
Adulting is
So-
expensive and can be boring. I think you have to embrace the boredom or the
Uh-huh.
routine, I guess I should say. You start to figure out why old people get crotchety when their routine
love
gets
that
messed
word.
up, and we were just talking about this off the air. I was listening to the Royals on the way down, and Denny Matthews is like the consummate old man. They should, it's a kick in the pitch and it's a strike.
Straight to the point.
Straight to the point. And then, and then it was like,
No flowery commentary, no exclamation point.
swing and it's gone. It just,
That'll make it 4-1 Royals.
Yeah, I love the economy of words. It is just like, no, I'm not going to say any more than is absolutely necessary. And I think he probably lives the rest of his life that way too.
Shout out Royals legend Denny Matthews, been with the franchise pretty much from the inception. Kevin, I would also point out in my young stages of adulting, life is easier when you have a great one by your side. A belated one day happy birthday to Aunt Sarah.
Well, thank you. It's really, really important to surround yourself with people who bring you up a level. And I would say not only does my wife bring me up a level, she brings me up probably double what I would ever be without her.
The great ones do.
The great ones do. And so, yeah, happy birthday, Aunt Sarah. Everybody loves you.
I'll raise our glass to you for this one, Aunt Sarah. What we got starting off with here, Uncle Kev?
Okay, Millstream Oktoberfest, and Millstream is from the Amana colonies in Iowa. Because guess what we have this weekend? We've got college football.
We do,
and so I'm already thinking about beating Iowa, and so we're gonna beat Iowa, and we're gonna drink their beer. And
the true sign of conquest.
A true sign of conquest. And so, what an Oktoberfest is. It's really too early. It's still in August, but to me, it means college football. And I'm not just a Husker fan. I'm a sports nerd. And college football is my favorite sport, hands down. There isn't even a close second. And so, essentially, what happened is that back in the 14th century, the prince in Munich got married. And they invited the entire city of Munich, and they made a special beer called a Marzen. Basically, it was a traditional German lager, except for they roasted the malts a little bit, giving it kind of a caramely look and flavor, just a light amber color. And it just smells, it tastes, it feels like autumn. And that to me, from a sensory perspective, just reminds me of college football. And so we're just willing it into existence, and so we're just going to milk this train for as long as we can. until it gets into holidays.
Ellie, your thoughts on the Oktoberfest?
I don't hate it, which is really good for
big step. Big step.
That is a big step.
I think
for Ellie.
the taste hits me like a normal beer would right off the bat, and then I swallow it, and then that's when the caramel comes in, and it just kind of
That's a little sweet finish to it. Yeah.
That's what I love about drinks, is because that doesn't taste like just one thing. You have to really if you're not thinking about it, okay, it tastes like one thing. It takes you through a whole different a taste train.
I love it.
Journey.
I love it. It's a journey. Yes. It's a
journey.
What would you call that? A journey on your palate or whatever. But yeah, that is kind of the fun part about my job, is that you get to sort of break these things down and to discern what it is that you're tasting, learning about the history of where it comes from, learning about how it's made. And so it just becomes such the whole becomes greater than the sum of the parts. And it's not just an enjoyable beverage or a vehicle to enter alcohol into your bloodstream, but you get to learn something new along the way and maybe pick up a little culture while you're at it.
When you poured this, the first thing that stood out to me was the color. Like, just aesthetically, I mean, you put it against the backdrop of that can that our Denver Broncos loving fans would enjoy. That's a very classy blue can, like dark kind of navy blue with some orange. It's classy orange, right? It's not bright, vibrant in your face. It's classy. You get like the Halloween October vibes from the orange, and that deep kind of caramel color that hit me immediately.
It's just delicious. And like Ellie said, it has that little bit of sort of sweetness on the back end. It's kind of a little bit bready, a little bit biscuity. It has a little bit of that, like almost like baked pretzel thing going on. And it's just delicious.
I have not had a good pretzel in a long time.
Oh, good pretzel.
Nothing like
with the thick, crunchy salt stuck to it. Yeah, that's the best.
Are we dipping our pretzels in cheese?
You could. I don't mind that. Brown mustard. Brown stone ground spicy mustard would be my number one go-to.
That does not shock me. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Must have been last week. I think we talked about the best beers, right? The airport beers, the garage beers, the golf beers, or whatever.
Right.
I found a story that made me think of airport beers and how many I would need to drink. So I'm going to share this story with you.
Yeah.
So this happened about 10 days ago, but the AP just wrote about it yesterday. Passengers stuck on a delayed flight to Seattle get an unexpected concert from a jazz band. Passengers on a flight from St. Louis to Seattle got an unexpected pick-me-up when jazz saxophonist Dave Koz and bandmates held an impromptu jam session in the aisles while the plane was stuck on the tarmac hundreds of miles from their final destination. Happened August 11th when Koz and fellow musicians on the Dave Koz and Friends Summer Horns Tour were headed to Seattle for 2 days of shows. What was supposed to be a direct flight was beset by delays, including having to divert to Boise after flight crew members timed out and needed to be relieved, and the plane encountered a mechanical issue. This wasn't the first delay the band experienced, yada, yada. You could just feel the energy. Everybody was so frustrated, Koz said. A flight attendant who saw the musicians bring their instruments on board asked if they would be willing to play a song while they were stuck in Boise. That's a nightmare. That is a horrendous decision from that flight attendant. That is at least 6 Boise, Idaho airport beers.
It would depend on how loud, because if you're talking horns,
2 saxes, a trumpet, and a trombone playing in an enclosed airplane.
Yeah, you'd have to open the bev cart for everybody.
Yeah,
I saw a little girl singing. It was the same concept, delayed flight. She went and got on the intercom and started singing. And in one of those videos, you go straight to the comments to see what people are saying. The comment section of things, that's where you get the most information, because you'll see if people are on your side or if you're like thinking the complete opposite. But people were obviously thinking like, oh my gosh, that would be awful. Like, yes, love that the little girl, like, she didn't sound bad.
Right.
But if I'm on a delayed flight and I can't get off of it, that's probably the last thing that I want to be hearing.
The little kids on the loud, or on the over at cams, and
she was singing Celine Dion too.
Oh boy, yeah. Just let me put on a movie. True. Bring the bev cart. Let me put on a movie. Let me stick to myself. I think I'd be best off that way.
Because not only was the flight delayed because of the crew members timing out, mechanical issue you had to continue to sit for. And then it's someone else's idea. It's not like they asked. The flight attendant asked them. Read the room, lady. You know these people are grumpy.
Take
they
a
thought
vote
they had
first.
a direct flight. At least with the singing, you can give the girl like her 5-10 minutes and that's that.
Sure.
But these are professional performers who do this for a living, who probably think, oh my goodness, this is our moment. We get to make up for it. And it's jazz instruments in an enclosed airplane. What a crappy idea.
Depending on what they're playing, you could probably fall asleep.
They were playing You Haven't Done Nothing, Stevie Wonder.
Okay, you're not falling asleep.
I'm drawing a blank on how that song. Oh yeah, nothing means nothing. Okay, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I mean,
but it's a jazz band on an enclosed airplane after delays.
And I bet it's really loud. Yeah.
Imagine being right next to the trumpet.
So we have a picture I can try to show you guys. So this was taken like as they were playing. Try to do this without spilling my wine that we'll get to here in just a moment. They're close to people.
Yeah.
There are people like blowing their eardrums out listening to
I
this
would.
music they didn't ask for.
That guy looks like he doesn't have the
does not
best
look happy.
ears.
Yeah.
No.
To be
he's
taking
getting
that
a
in.
trombone to the dome.
Bad decision.
Oof.
Bad decision by that flight crew. A good decision is going down to Myers Cork and Bottle at 13th and South. Kevin, remind people your hours.
We are open from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and 1 to 6 on Sundays.
There you have it. It's Kevin Meyer, Myers Cork and Bottle, with a wonderful Millstream Oktoberfest. And now something that we know for a fact will not be up Ellie's alley, but we'll see if she's matured at all. What kind of deep red are we drinking today?
This is called Septima, and it is a Malbec from Argentina. And Malbec is a grape type that is Argentina's flagship. And it actually originates in the southwest part of France, a place called Cahors. And what's interesting about that region is that they were famous for this black wine. And the reason that it was a black wine was that it was super, super old vine Malbec, like 100-plus-year-old vines. And so they grafted from those vines and took them down into Argentina because their climate was very, very similar. And what happened was they had a phylloxera bug. And basically it's an aphid that can wipe out entire wine-producing regions in a matter of days. And but what they've done is that with modern technology and whatnot and viticulture techniques, they graft onto rootstock that doesn't get bothered by the bug. And so they actually had to go back to Argentina to graft off the phylloxera-resistant rootstock and replant in this southwest region in France. However, it changed the style of the wine for decades because it was no longer old vine; they were younger grapes. And so, essentially, what happens is that the clusters of grapes are fewer and further between on these old vines. They get these great big gnarly trunks on them, and the berries are smaller. So instead of a normal grape size, they might be like just slightly larger than a blueberry. And they develop these really, really thick skins. And so what happens, it really concentrates the juice and it creates this more intense dark wine.
Because you're packing the same amount of flavor into a smaller space.
Exactly. It's just more concentrated. And so it took decades for the wine of this region to sort of get back to that old style. But now some of these Argentinian vines are actually older than the ones in France. And so the great thing about these wines is that it's pretty inexpensive to do business down there. So this is on the shelf every day for $15, and I think punches above its weight class for sure. It's soft. It's got some depth. It's got some nice fruit. It's got a little bit of spice. And you know me, my handle's big grill guys. So a wine like this would certainly complement virtually anything off the grill. So for $15, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck.
Absolutely. Ellie, you didn't make completely disgusted dry wine.
No, I was
face.
trying
Good
to
job.
do I compared to what we've had in the past. I know we've had an up and down journey.
I think your tastes are developing.
Your train ride has been a little bumpy.
It's not as bad as what I would like remember myself trying back in the day. It's been a long time. I started my journey at the ticket with you. You were right there from the beginning.
That's fantastic.
I'm coming up on a year.
That makes me very proud.
I like that you said soft, because it does land very delicately, but you do get a lot of like deep fruit and a little bit of spice, but not overpowering. That is so well balanced.
Yeah, it's not super in your face. It's really pretty gentle in terms of, quaffability, I guess would be the word.
Quaffability?
Quaffability.
I don't know if you ever used that one on the air.
Really?
I'm going to look
No.
that up.
It's a little pretentious.
Really, from the wine guy. Shocker.
Things just slip out sometimes. But it's very drinkable. It's not gonna like blow your taste buds through the roof of your mouth. It's just very easy, very approachable, I guess would be a better word. And like I said, though, there's plenty of depth, there's plenty of flavor, there's plenty of complexity. It's just not so in your face. And especially for a wine of $15, is super well balanced.
Wine of $15 for, like you said, the flagship grape of a country, right? Argentina, it's what they're known for.
Precisely.
Let's say you're an Argentinian winemaker and you said, you know what? I'm going to plant my flag on Malbec. What I want to do, because it's here, it's available, soil works, all that stuff. And then you mess it up. How big a stain is that on you compared to maybe trying something new and it maybe not working right away?
Well, I think you gain a lot of experience before you actually are all in.
Kind of take that jump.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to get a degree in winemaking. Most of these wineries won't hire you without one. And so you've sort of stood the test of time, and you've been through that trial and error process. And you've learned from other people's mistakes along the way. You've learned from your own mistakes along the way before you become the head honcho in charge. So there's really an apprenticeship that happens first. I'm not saying it doesn't happen where, I've heard stories of when the wines go in barrels, you need sulfur dioxide, SO2, and it acts as a preservative to keep the wines from getting oxidized while they're aging. And I've heard of people actually accidentally adding too much CO2 and then making the wine like smell and taste like a gunshot, like a shotgun shell, or a firecracker. And so that can happen, but I think that you get a long apprenticeship along the way prior to being the head one in charge before, so you just don't cost someone too much money. And so it's really an interesting process because these people are as much artists as they are scientists, and so it's really a two-brained situation. And that's kind of part of what makes my job so fun is that I get to try all these things and I get to learn something new every day.
Is that one of those things, the art versus science, that you can tell in a drink? Like, oh, these people really took their time. They didn't, they knew exactly what they were doing. They have it down to a science. It's consistent versus, hey, they tried something, more the artistry behind it. Can you tell when a wine or a beer, in whatever case, is more art versus science with your palate?
I can, especially with wild ferment stuff.
Oh.
So, yeast lives in the crevices in the walls of everything wherever we are. And so you see a lot of people experimenting with wild yeast fermentations. And so it's sort of like, let's just see what happens. And, sometimes it can turn out like a champagne. Sometimes it can turn out super funky. Sometimes it can turn into like your grandmother's wet basement. It's just, you just don't really quite know what you're going to get. So that to me is more artsy versus sciencey. The more sciencey type of products are going to be very, very controlled in terms of like the type of yeast that they're using, the obviously the cleanliness of the environment. It's got to be sterile. There's just so many different factors. And so it just kind of depends on sort of the end result. But part of the fun is playing around and see if something magical happens.
We've got quaffability, we got shotgun shells, and we got Grandma's Basement. I think that is a fantastic Thirsty Thursday in the books. Remind people what we're drinking here today, Kevin.
We've got Millstream Oktoberfest out of the Amana colonies in Iowa because we're here to drink their beer and beat their football team. And then Septima Malbec out of Argentina on the shelf every day for $15.
Down at Myers, Cork, and Bottle, 13th and South. Go check them out, whether it's in person or maybe get your recommendations here on Thirsty Thursday first. Every Thursday, 4:00 here on The Ticket. Kevin, great to see you as always. Thank you.
I appreciate you having me and glad Ellie could join in too.
Happy to
good
be
job
here.
Not coughing. You did
I know,
You
and I
made
drank
it.
way more than I thought I was going to. So
that is a successful,
Just in time to clock out.
Exactly.
successful Thirsty Thursday. We'll be back with more Old School in a moment.
Tino's. We're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden Bay Crust. Cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Give your furnace a break with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Heartland of Nebraska Windows offers a free estimate, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty of everything, while still keeping their prices affordable. Sounds too good to be true, right? Heartland of Nebraska Windows is locally and family owned with their own team of installers. Give the window experts at Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today at 402-430-3852 or visit them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Elevate your home or business with the help of Heartland of Nebraska Windows today.
A1 Automotive's second location is now open at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill Road. The new location continues to specialize in all makes and models and provides personalized service as they have for 15 years. With the school year here, A1 Automotive reminds you that college students get 10% off any service, and they offer free tire repair with a valid college ID. Schedule your appointment today at a1autolincoln.com and visit their new location in South Lincoln at 5110 State Hill Drive or downtown at 11th and L.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schwisow.com.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs has been an trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Roll-Offs make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Roll-Offs, cleanup made simple.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Bring new.
Back to old school with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome back in to Old School. Austin and Jay with you, joined by a special guest, Amy of Link to Literacy. Amy, great to see you again.
Hi.
Talked to you earlier in the week.
I know.
And since you were here last time, the kids multiplied.
I know. I went from 1 to 3 kids now here with me, but this time they're not in the studio with me. I think last time I had one of them like on my head with a dinosaur, and I was like, "Oh goodness, what's he doing?" But
he got rave reviews.
Yeah.
People
great,
loved it.
great.
So, congratulations on on that. 2 days away from Wordstock.
I know.
What's the
it
mood?
is
What's
so
the vibe?
soon. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so excited, and I know a lot of other people are too. I've gotten so many texts already from friends just saying how excited they are, making sure I'm going to be there the whole time so they can see me. My kids' friends are all coming, so they're all excited to see each other and hang out. And yeah, it's that excitement that builds up to the event.
To that point, it's been a build up to the event. It doesn't just happen overnight.
Oh, gosh,
What's gone
no.
into making Wordstock possible? What's gone into it? Who's gone into it?
Oh
What's the
my
process
goodness.
been like?
Oh my goodness, what a great question. Especially today, I have been thinking so much about the amount of volunteer work that really does make this event successful. We have been asking volunteers for the past month to be collecting books from multiple locations, and not only collecting them, but they bring them home into their own garages, into their own space, and then they sort them accordingly, whether it be into boxes of baby and toddler books or young adult fiction and nonfiction and adult books and cookbooks. So they've been collecting and sorting them. We also have had so many books donated to us from like the Library Commission Office. Foster Care Closet donated a lot of books to us that are at the Foundry that have been today sorted by UNL volunteers. We have volunteers over there right now that are finishing the sorting, and we're getting ready to already start loading vehicles. So they're ready for the drop off on Saturday morning. So just a ton of work that has gone into this event.
We'll let Jay hop in here in just a minute, but you mentioned all sorts of books, right? I think primarily Link to Literacy's messages we've heard is focused on kids, right?
Yeah.
Early reading sets the foundation, but you mentioned cookbooks. You mentioned all sorts of other types of books. Your focus is kids, but books are for everyone.
Exactly.
So everyone's welcome to Wordstock. Is that correct?
Absolutely. This is good for all ages. This is an event that is tailored towards it's great for kids, but it is great for adults too. There is a section of adult books, the nonfiction, fiction, cookbooks, religious books. So lots there for adults. There's also a whole bunch of nonprofits and other businesses that are going to be there with booths for adults also, not just kids. There's food trucks there. I know I've had friends that don't have kids that come to the event and have just as great of a time as my friends that do have kids. So definitely for all ages.
Yeah, we attended last year, and it was a eye-opening experience for me. It was a really great event. So it's going to be even better this year. For our listeners that don't know, we know you guys have been on periodically on different shows. Give everybody the place and time, so they can show up. And then obviously, I will tell you for a little tip: you want to make sure you get there early because it will be packed.
Yes, it gets so busy, and I noticed the weather this year is going to be great.
Perfect.
Last year,
it was hot.
It was almost 100 degrees, and we were all just roasting outside, which deters people from staying for a long time. But the year before, it was great weather, and people love to just stay and hang out. And I think that's going to be this year again.
Yeah.
So definitely. Early is great, but it does go till 1. So you asked, the place is at Antelope Park. It's just to the east of the playground area. And if you get to the playground, you see everything going on. You see the event. So it's this Saturday. It's from 10 to 1 o'clock. The book swap is inside, but then all around Antelope Park is definitely where the booths are, the activities. There's carnival games, Capital City Carnival. Donated great games for the kids. I was asking my kids on the way down here their favorite part, and one of them said the games that were there. They're all book readers, but those games are really, really fun.
I always ask is how you became it. How when we have different like nonprofits or people come in, I always like to ask how you got involved, and also then how your role has evolved once you became involved.
Yeah, great question. We are getting ready to have our 3rd birthday. So Link to Literacy has been around for 3 years. And right before that was when I chose to become a stay-at-home mom and stay home with my kids. And Kat, our executive director, and I have been friends for a long time. And she approached me. She knew that I was a past teacher of 11 years. And so it's kind of right up my alley to work with children and to work with literacy programs. And so I jumped in. I said, yes, I wanted something to do as a stay-at-home mom that still gave me some adult time. So it's just a really good opportunity and a really good time to get involved. I signed on with Link to Literacy as the board vice president. And since then, I have become board president. And I also help give some book bridge workshops, which is our adult literacy education program that we offer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're talking with Amy from Link to Literacy ahead of Wordstock Saturday from 10 to 1 at Antelope Park. Amy, you mentioned, other nonprofits are going to be out there with booths. How important is it for nonprofits in any community, but especially Lincoln, to work together to further each other's mission instead of trying to do it all on their own?
Oh, absolutely. I think nonprofits, especially in Lincoln, coming into the nonprofit world, I am starting to realize how much of when we do link up and support each other, it's just, there's so many opportunities for us to work together because we ultimately our mission is to serve our community as best as we can. And we do overlap in our missions and what we do and who we help. So when you do link up together, it's just, it becomes such a community effort to help everybody out.
Speaking of working together, right? I think about the 3 kids out there, right? You're a mom. Sure, you like to encourage reading, but I'm a parent myself. Got another one on the way, and I enjoy reading. But I feel like for a lot of people, that's something that falls by the wayside. Oh, it feels like work. I have to sit down and read a book. How do you, as a parent, what advice do you maybe have for other parents listening that maybe want to read more themselves, want to make sure their kids, have that love of reading, but want to make sure that it's something that's encouraged, not something that you have to do that makes it feel like work?
Absolutely. I've always been a reader, but I feel like it's generational, right? So I'm a reader because I watched my mom read. My mom's a reader because she watched her dad read. And so thinking about how important reading is, and we know research shows us the importance of not only reading aloud to our kids and what that does for them academically, but what it does for them socially, the emotional skills that comes from just reading with your children. When you read the statistics behind that, it is so encouraging as a parent to want to sit down and read with your kid, knowing how much it's going to benefit them. I always suggest just thinking about your day-to-day routine and thinking about when can I find time in my day to just spend 5 or 10 minutes with my child reading. And really, it's such a cool thing. Reading is not about the words on the page. I mean, let's be real. When you're sitting down with your kid, it's not about making sure every single word is read. It's not about trying to rush from start to finish. It's not about starting the book and finishing the book.
That's my challenge with a near 2-year-old who
that doesn't
loves
work.
to read, but also loves to run around while I'm reading.
Yeah, exactly. And that's totally fine. I think people have this idea in their mind that reading is sitting down right next to your child, both of you actively engaged in reading from page 1 to the end. And really, that realistically, as a parent, that's not how it works. And think about as an adult, that's not how it works either. I mean, you sit down and you might get distracted. And that's just naturally how it happens. And so reading with kids, I always say, find 5 or 10 minutes, sit down. But if you have kids, I have really active kids, and I'll read to them while they're playing Legos, or we'll listen to audiobooks that I'll get on my phone while they're coloring. I think it's totally fine. And they're actively engaged with their reading, and they will answer questions. They'll ask me questions. And so they can kind of double dip. They can be active and listen to stories at the same time. I also think it's totally cool to open up nonfiction books with kids and just turn to a section and say, let's just look at this section together. So it's not always about making sure you're finishing it or just reading word to word.
I always wanted to ask, do you find it's more beneficial to, because I know you guys have, obviously the hard copies there. Do you think it's more beneficial to read via hard copy, or obviously everybody, it's the easy thing now on your phone, but then you start getting texts or emails or notifications, which then would cut down that short time. Anyways, do you think it's more beneficial to use a hard copy? And obviously you guys will have plenty.
Plenty of hard copies.
Come one, come all, right?
Yes, exactly. I love the hard copy. I love I'm one of those library lovers. I like going in. I like the smell of the book. I like the sound of turning pages. I like being able to have a book with me whenever I go somewhere in case I want to sit down and read. I'm a hard copy person. I think audiobooks are just as great. I always have one just in case I don't have
Right.
my hard book that I can listen to. I think it's okay to do either. It's really just about that idea
Preference.
of
Yeah.
listening to a book, reading a book, having that connection with the characters. I still think you're getting a lot out of whichever way works best for you. The phone thing always is hard for me though, because I'm very, very easily distracted on my
that's why I
phone.
asked,
So the second something pops up, then I'm done with the book then.
One other resource I know that you have for parents in terms of hard copies as well, your partnership with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. Maybe walk parents through that, how they can get signed up for
Yes,
that.
so great. So we have been working with Dolly Parton Imagination Library pretty much since the start. It happened right away. And you can get signed up for that at Wordstock. They will have a booth. So if you're at Wordstock and you have a child that's 5 or under, they can get signed up right there at Wordstock. Or
Each
you can,
kid, not just each family.
yeah, each kid, yeah, as long as they're under 5. If you have a 2 and a 4-year-old, both of them can be signed up separately. Yes. But you can go to our website. We have it all lined up there, how to register.
There you go. Book drop off is done. I know you're talking about that on Tuesday, but people can still bring books for the book swap part, but that's not something they have to do.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yes, correct. So book drop off stopped on Tuesday because we wanted to give our volunteers a little bit of time to make sure they could sort through them. Some of these book drop offs are insane. What we're hearing, some of the books right now that are housed at the Foundry are from volunteers that were like, my garage was full. I didn't know. I couldn't park my car. I need to get these somewhere else. So there's a lot of books to sort through. So we wanted to make sure our volunteers had the right amount of time to sort through the books, to get them all boxed up and ready to go. So book drop off at these locations that were on our flyer, that is over right now. However, still accepting books for sure. If you have a bag of books at home and you missed that deadline, you can just show up at Wordstock with them. I know we're a book loving family, so we have lots and lots and lots of books at our house. So for me, I do like cycling some of them out. So that was really important for me to go through our books and get rid of some of them. But that is totally optional. If you didn't donate any books, you absolutely do not have to have any to show up for the event. You just come and still get books.
And I'm going to recommend you take them straight to the table, because if you hand them to a Link to Literacy person, they might just take them for themselves. Put them in their own car, go home.
I might go through those a little bit and get my first picks.
Yeah, a little vetting process.
Exactly.
Quick, right? Yeah.
That's awesome. That's Amy of Link to Literacy with us here during Old School Saturday, 10 to 1, Antelope Park here in Lincoln. Amy, great to see you again. Thank you for the great information. We'll see you out there on Saturday.
Thank you. See you guys there.
More Old School, it comes your way after this.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Limitless Male says it's all fun and games until your testosterone plummets. Testosterone levels can start falling as early as age 30 with symptoms like no energy, poor sleep, brain fog, belly fat, muscle loss, and mood swings. If this sounds familiar, get your testosterone checked at Limitless Male. We'll get you back in the game with more strength, energy, and confidence. When you feel this good, you'll wonder why you waited so long to get a free consult at Limitless Male. Get scheduled today.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways. Tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds. An afternoon high around 88. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, below near 67. And tomorrow, a chance of showers and storms arriving in the afternoon. Otherwise, mainly sunny skies with light winds and a high around 90. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker, 93.7 The Ticket, and theticketfm.com.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com or call 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Back to old school with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here to Old School. Austin and Jay with you. Back live on radio as the Royals wrap up a 6-4 win over the Texas Rangers. Royals now 24-14 since July the 6th. That's the best record in the American League. Royals take 3 out of 4 from the Rangers, who they have recently passed in the American League wild card standings. Interesting 10 games ahead now for the Royals. 3 on the road with Detroit, 3 on the road with the White Sox, and then another set at home at the K against Detroit, all coming up. Detroit's got a pretty commanding lead in the division, but the Royals sit just 2 games back of a wild card berth in the American League. Still trailing the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Mariners, but hey, the Royals are within shouting distance. Those other 3 teams are hearing some footsteps, so make sure you keep it tuned right here to Lincoln's home for the Royals. 93.7 The Ticket. Big thanks to everyone who makes Old School possible. First of all, obviously, title sponsor, The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Tomorrow's going to be Fired Up Friday at their 84th and Havelock location starting at 11. Make sure you get out there, pick up a great lunch for yourself. Big thanks to Heartland of Nebraska Windows, and of course, Love Volleyball Nebraska for sponsoring various segments here throughout the show. Jay, all that talk about reading probably flashed you back to Eden Prairie High School, where you just sat down and you read books. From page 1 to the end every night, right? Your English teachers loved you.
Hey, man, that ain't happening, man. Hey, I see people that read in the airport, Oh, wait, man, you just. But you know what? I think it's something that I didn't grow up around. I know. I will tell you,
You're reading your playbook, if not.
playbook I'll read all day.
Mhm. What is the best playbook and the worst playbook you ever had to read through?
Well, the best playbook I liked was Buffalo because it was simple.
Pre-Greg or including Greg?
No, pre-Greg. Just go
Just
kill
wanna
it.
make sure.
It was just essentially kill everybody. That's what it was.
See his ACL?
Yeah. It was go get it, and then the one that Greg's was probably very confusing until I got my head wrapped around it and gained confidence and stuff like that, and kind of really kind of all came together. I played the position I was playing, which was new, better, and then I started to see some payoff from the extra work I put in. But here's a funny story about reading, right? So Henry Jones, who when I was a rookie,
Is that Big Bang Hank?
It's Big Bang Hank.
Okay.
Yeah, big bang, huge bang Hank. He would read like when we go on road trips. So I'm just like, all right, I'll do it. Let me go, and I got a John Grisham book.
Hello.
And it was actually a really good book. I'd read, like obviously after a hard practice, I'd read before I would go to bed, but it was more or less relax a little bit, and that's when they're like, oh, you'll sleep better. And I don't know if it made me sleep better, but I just had a little routine. I'd always make sure I consistently read, a couple pages, a few pages, a week. Then I'd, traveling back and forth in the off season, flights from Buffalo to Minneapolis, I was doing the same. And I remember I got, you start out and, say it's 500 or 600 pages. You're like, man, this is going to take a year. Or you get down to the last like 50. Man, and the ending was not what I wanted.
John Grisham, you let our boy Jay down. What are you
He
doing?
let me down. It was actually a good book, and it was down in like South America or whatever. Read a couple more after that. Read The Art of War, of course, and then the 48 Laws of Power. I always sometimes go back.
The nice even number, Laws of Power.
Yeah. I sometimes go back and read that. And so I mean, I probably read more than I give credit for, but I'm not a reader.
My thing with reading is I'm reading so many articles. It's online. It's not paper. I've got to really force myself, into, book reading. It's something I've always enjoyed doing. But back in the sports realm of things, Jay, we're a week away from game day, obviously Nebraska and Cincinnati. If you're an upperclassman still studying your playbook, it's probably just for fine details, right? But just because you're a week away from the season, you're a freshman, you're an underclassman, no reason to put that playbook down.
Oh no, you gotta, you have to. I think even if you're a veteran, you need to study your playbook every night. Every night, you need to have. This is about time management, man. This is about really maximizing your day, and really sacrificing, I guess, the fun stuff for the ultimate goal. And really, you have to think about it. And I know that they have obligations at the stadium. But if you say, you know what, I'm gonna just, whether it's looking at your play, I'm sure they got their playbook online right now,
iPad, something,
right? And so you could sit back and say, you know what, for 30 minutes, I'm gonna review, install, which I'm sure they're installing stuff, or maybe they're done, and then go back over the stuff that you just never know, or go over the game plan. You got to be in your, you have to be in your playbook. You have to be in the film. This is not time. This is not the time. That time is over. Fun time is over. Straight. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm just gonna keep.
It's not bad news if it's factual.
I'm just keep it real. Fun. The games are like the games. The little kid games. That's over.
No more.
This is real.
No mas.
This is 1,000% real. There's things on the line that you can't even think of. Now, when you start, if I start to tell you to think about them, your sphincter muscle might start getting tight. So, in order for it not to be tight when you get in the moment, is that you got to be prepared, fully prepared. You can't leave no stone unturned. You got to make sure that you are doing your job to the best of your ability for you personally and for the team
collectively.
Period. For here on out, every day.
And when you think about reading a playbook, it's not just flip through it. Oh, yeah, I know what this play is. Oh, yeah, I know what that play is. Take us through maybe your process, Jay, for taking notes in your playbook, right? When I get this look, I'm dropping to here. If I'm a receiver, if I see this look, I'm cutting to here. It's a sharp turn. It's a rounded turn. Because it's not just, oh, yeah, if I can memorize these plays by picture. Almost more important than the plays itself after a while is the notes and what your quarterback, your OC, your position coach expects.
Well, I mean, it's generally, I didn't put a lot of notes in my playbook. I had notebooks for the season. And essentially, I kept a notebook for every single week. Now, granted, we played, in the pros, we played, we played the Colts twice and stuff like that. So I could kind of combine it. So I didn't want to forget something in the first week, a play.
Colts week 4 versus Colts week 13
because
a lot of
times you're getting the scouting report for a couple games prior or things from the year before. And then, there's some crossover because you might see, how another team plays the Colts and or another player. You could, call it. Sometimes guys call each other and say, hey, what, how was it or whatever.
Oh, so you guys were colluding against Peyton. Dang.
Against everybody. And so I think my notes would be, number one, I'd have personnel notes who I'm going against, my own scouting report, and I could be writing down the same thing. But I think once you do,
but it's writing it down. That's the muscle memory that gets it implanted up there.
Because you just become more entrenched in it. And then, you would, when you're say like you're in first and second down runs, you put up, they'll put up the diagrams of the runs, but you'll list the 6 runs, that they like to run or the concepts. And then you go through, you'll kind of know, like, especially when you get closer to the game, what we'll call on first and second down, what we'll call on second and 6+. What are we going to call from, second and short, or like, so you gotta kind of like a base, but then you take every single play that you're watching in that realm of, section of plays, and you go through every single call, every single check, every single double check. That means that they flip the formation, and then you start to envision yourself playing those plays. It's a long process. That's why I say the fun time is over. Because if you think you're going to have a big social life while you're playing football, like this whole work-life balance, there is no work-life balance. There's
work balance.
That's it. Literally, your only balance is after the game, because that's you're not in football again, and so, or you're not until the next day or whenever the next time you have meetings. So it's detailed notes. It's tips that you might see that you might want to try to go tell, the D coordinator, linebacker coach, the tip that you might see. You might pick up on something. You might even be in a meeting and just reaffirming some of the things that you want to make sure what you're seeing is right, because I know you're watching the tape. So we are, it's just kind of, some guys are very detailed. I felt like the more notes I took, number one, kept me engaged. Number one, you're building. I always felt, and it might be true enough, I felt like you're building mental, like, competitive strength to be, you're engaged, in those meetings. I don't need to be sitting in the meetings, thinking about, what I'm going to buy online or anything like that. It's 100% locked in, because just because you're in the practice tape or you're being coached on a play at Sam linebacker, right? Say I'm the Mike or whatever they call them, and you're getting coached on a play or a concept. And if I'm just all right, it's Austin's business. I'm not worried about it.
That's where you're wrong, my friend.
That's where the football guys will come back and bite you in the butt, because what could happen is they flip the formation. You forget to go with the motion or the shift. I have to be good enough as a middle linebacker to know what you have to do. I have to line up in your position, and I gotta literally, as I move, I gotta say, you stay, you play, hook off number 2 backside, or you got hook off number 2, and then you gotta make sure you call the flow, which is 4 to the side or flood or whatever you want to call it, and then I gotta play that first inside technique until you call me off if it's zone. Right. So if the running back goes to the one receiver side, you're hooking off number 2. That's him. He's going out. Then you're dropping off the depth of him and the route combination and all that. Well, if they got 11 personnel, a tight slot, tight end could be off the ball, slot on the ball, and they're in a bunch formation or motion in the mesh or whatever they want. They could shift off, they could be on the ball, shift off, all that stuff. I got to handle your job. So that's all. So the notes aren't just for Mike linebacker or Will linebacker. It's for linebacker. It could be.
Then understanding how that plays with the guys behind you who have their own job to do, and the guys in front of you might be
when
going
I
off
play
the
your
ball.
position, I got to know where like the alley filler is. Am I the force player?
Where's my help coming from?
Am I the over top player against a run? Opposite. If they run an RPO, where am I at? And then also you got to think you got to bring the nickel in too, because they could flip the formation. I could be playing Sam. They might need me to play Sam. They might think I'm versatile enough. I'm displaced. That means I'm out covering a 3 or a 2 away from the tackle position. I got to be able to play. And that's all the stuff that's granted, they go over it in meetings, right?
But it's one thing to go over it in meetings and hear it, but that's why you have the notebook.
They go over
write
it
it down, study at night when you get home.
Right. They go over in meetings, and you probably walk through it. You go and practice it. There's an old saying where Nick Saban, before they run a play in practice, they want the defense in this case to see the play 5 times. Film, linebacker room, walkthrough, pre-practice walkthrough, in practice, kind of jog, whatever, live.
Then we do it.
Right. Okay. That's fine. But then I got to make sure that I'm locked in on it when I'm at home.
On your own time, your own business, because that's your job. Plain and simple.
Yeah. It's money time now.
Let's go to break. When we get back, some big news out of the SEC, a change to their scheduling format. What is the SEC doing for 2026? We'll tell you all about that when we get back to Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. This month kicks off Koppel's 50th anniversary sale. We're celebrating 50 years by offering an additional $500 discount to the next 100 customers that buy a new vehicle. This is in addition to the huge savings already in place. You can take an extra $500 off our discounted price, or we can cut you a check on the spot. Celebrate with savings and see why customers have trusted Koppel since 1975. It's our way of saying thank you for all these years.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese, with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, I'm Eli Barnes, Assistant Vice President at Midwest Bank at the 70th and Pioneers and 27th Jamie Lane locations. I love working with families and small businesses right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Banking shouldn't be complicated, and that's why we make it personal. Whether it's opening your child's first account or securing a loan for your next big step, I'm here to help. Stop in today and say hello. I'd love to meet you. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Third hour, Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. A Thursday, balmy Thursday again, but we are keeping the heat rocking and live in effect, 1040 O Street. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andermatt / Old Cheney, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. A lot going on. Obviously, we had some great guests and Kevin Meyer, then obviously we had Lincoln Literacy, but then also we had some stuff to talk about with a little bit of the Huskers, a little bit of news coming out of the Big Ten, and now we go to the, I guess we wouldn't call the SEC the big brother, but our first cousin, right? First cousin that they like.
I feel like it's just two different like Game of Thrones houses right now.
Yeah, it's a Hatfield and McCoy's, but they don't fight each other. But news out of there is starting in 2000. The power of Kirk Cignetti.
How about that?
Kirk Cignetti said, "Listen, we're he kind of bashed the SEC teams. Obviously, he knows firsthand coaching with Nick Saban in Alabama. Having to, I guess, towards the, before they have a big game of Cupcake, it's like Cupcake week for them. And they only had 8 conference games because they felt like their conference was so good they didn't have to. But starting in 2026, so it gives them a couple more years to try to get a national championship out of this. They are moving to 9 conference games. I think that's an interesting move, but it also lets you know that's probably when they're gonna expand the playoffs. Because it's not, listen, if we do this, you're expanding the playoffs. So even if we play an extra one, we still get more teams in.
We'll start on that point when it comes to the college football playoff. This was the big sticking point for the Big Ten. We don't want your 5+11 model until you go to 9 conference games. So SEC said, you know what? Screw it. We'll go to 9. And now, my guess is the Big Ten is on board. Big Ten's got to pay its debts. You did your thing.
Yeah.
We'll do our thing. So now what it's looking like is that the 4 power conference champions will get in. The highest ranked group of 5 champion, which I think the Pac-12 will fall into. Maybe it's retained its autonomy spot and we're back to Power 5. I doubt it. But either way, 5 conference champions and 11 of the wild card kind of at-large selections is what it looks like for 2026.
Yeah, it'll be 4 on a lean year coming out of the SEC, and 5, maybe 6 if they have a really, really good year. But it lets you know when the college football playoffs will expand, most likely. They will not do it unless it expands, but they will not do it if they don't have preferential treatment. So long time coming, but they got away with it for a while because they could, and I think as college football started to change, right, where you got to think the last 2 national champions come from the Big Ten. And so, I think there's some teams that are starting to catch up with them talent-wise. I think they also realize the power of Nick Saban. Once Nick Saban retired, I think, in my opinion, they lost a lot of respect or fear.
Well, that's no disrespect to a guy like Kirby Smart.
No,
who's taken over the mantle.
It was Nick and Kirby.
But it was Nick.
But it was Nick.
It was Nick.
And he could get things done by a phone call, and he could say something through Paul Finbaum or whatever, and all that. And now he's gone. And yes, Kirby is there, and obviously he's a national championship coach and a great coach, and they have great coaches in the SEC, but none of them are bringing.
But he's not Nick Saban.
He's not bringing Nick Saban, and he's not bringing Bama.
Right.
And so even if Bama starts to have success or has real national championship aspirations or in the hunt in the next 2 years, it's still not the same. And so it's a good way for the SEC and Sankey to cover their tail and then, hope or assume that they'll start to level up here. But then, like if you're Brian Kelly, Lane Kiffin, and all those guys, you're happy with that. You're happy in DeBoer too. I think you're happy with that because now, your path to getting in is there and anything can happen. And they're looking at the Big Ten as we're looking at the AC or SEC, is that they feel like the Big Ten might have hit their peak and maybe on the downslide. Whereas same as the Big Ten looking at the SEC, Nick's gone. Now they're ripe for the picking. So we'll see.
A couple interesting things to keep in mind with this SEC announcement of going to 9 games. First of all, each school will play 3 annual opponents focused on maintaining traditional rivalries. We'll get back to that in a sec. Each team's remaining 6 games will rotate among the remaining conference schools. So you'll go on rotation, but here's how that rotation will work. Every team will face every other SEC team at least once every 2 years, and you'll have a home and home with every SEC opponent within 4 years. So you'll get around the conference. That makes a lot of sense. You also, as an SEC team, will be required to schedule another Power 4 opponent or Notre Dame in your non-conference every year. And, okay, you start laughing about that, but think about this, Jay. Florida already had a game like that. Georgia with Georgia Tech, Kentucky with Louisville, and South Carolina with Clemson. So that's already essentially a quarter of your league has already been doing this. What this opens the door to do is bring back Bedlam. Oklahoma can't duck Oklahoma State anymore, right? That's not going to be on the table and allowed to happen. Some of the interesting teams,
Missouri, Kansas, and stuff like that.
Heck yeah. Missouri, Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
That opens up that avenue, I think.
I like it. I like it. But then also I think the scheduling is going to be strategic, who most likely there's no easy game, but you got to think who can get Arkansas and Mississippi State.
Let's get into that, Jay.
And Vanderbilt.
So
I'm trying to get them 3.
Arkansas's protected rivals, such as they are, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Texas.
That's easy.
Mississippi State's protected rivals, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Makes sense for them. Some of the interesting ones for me, Texas, I think obviously stood out. You get the Southwest Conference back with Arkansas, Oklahoma, and A&M. They'll be playing every year. I think that makes a lot of sense. LSU, I was really interested to see where they went. LSU gets Bama every year. Ole Miss and Texas A&M.
I don't see any.
Bama, I like,
but nothing. No.
Tennessee gets Bama, South Carolina, Vandy. That works out for Tennessee, not Georgia. I don't like that for them at all.
I know for a fact that my friends that played at Tennessee, they hate Georgia. Yeah.
Georgia gets Auburn, Florida, Kentucky.
So you get kind of a cupcake. Everyone gets a cupcake.
Florida makes sense.
Auburn and Kentucky.
Tennessee's got to be one of them.
That's your cupcake.
Mm-hmm.
We do you all right. We can make sure you'll be all right, Kirby.
Oklahoma, Jay, gets Florida, Missouri, and Texas.
But, man, when you look at these teams, if Auburn plays to like their recruiting level in their transfer portal this year, they're going to be a problem. Arkansas, their quarterback is for real, and I like their coach. And I know he's been under kind of a hot seat. And let's just assume Bama is going to be a little bit more tidied up crew.
Well, Bama gets Auburn, LSU, Tennessee. That's tough annually.
Yeah, they got the short end of the stick. Everybody hates Bama. But then when you think of like South Carolina, they on the uptick. Ole Miss is Ole Miss, and the only one that is kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, but maybe not so much anymore, is Vanderbilt. We'll see this year. So it's Vanderbilt gets Tennessee.
Vanderbilt gets Auburn, Missouri, and Tennessee, according to reports.
Yeah, they hate each other.
In the same state, so that one I think makes a lot of sense. But this is going to be really interesting too, Jay. How many ACC phones are going to be ringing off the hook? How many mid to lower tier Big 12 teams' phones are going to be ringing off the hook, right? I don't think the SEC is going to be calling, Rutgers. They're not going to be calling maybe Maryland, but I think Baylor.
I think TCU. I think maybe SMU, depends. I think Virginia. I think Georgia Tech can be popular. Maybe Boston College might be a little bit too far
So
north.
you said they're going to go get a bunch of scrubs so they can just essentially have a bye week
to hit the Power 4 requirement. But play on the easy end.
Yeah. They'll play those teams. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
I mean, you still have your Texas.
I thought you meant to join the SEC.
No. I'm saying about the Power 4 requirement, right? You still have your Alabama, Wisconsin series on the books.
UCF,
I know UCF
Texas
maybe.
Tech, you can go play those Kansas and all them.
Right. Where we're playing a Power 4 that's a Big 12 school.
Yeah, you can play them within proximity, or especially like the schools like Oklahoma, Texas A&M that have been there. Missouri had already been in the kind of the Big 12, and then proximity of Tennessee to ACC teams. So it's going to come down to scheduling, but I like it that they're stepping up to plate, being more competitive with 9 games.
If you're Nebraska, who from the SEC are you insulted is calling you to play a game, and who are you having discussions with?
Well, I think naturally you want to have
Oklahoma, Missouri,
Texas,
yeah, A&M.
I guess you are insulted if Vanderbilt calls you, because that means Vanderbilt thinks they can beat you.
Mississippi State,
yeah,
South Carolina.
You just got to make sure you play just here.
Kentucky,
not so much.
Okay,
I think there respect's there.
Kentucky just feels like a Big Ten program.
Stark Vegas, go down there with all them dang bells and stuff.
Stark Vegas,
Elijah
baby.
Moore.
Elijah Moore. Oh no.
Hey, one thing I want to say, since we're on the SEC, have you seen The Day in the Life in the SEC on Netflix?
I haven't watched it front to back yet, but
hey man, Brian Kelly was he was at his wit's end. I forgot that he Denny Green the in the press conference.
Yeah.
He didn't agree. We let him off the. He was like, "I'm so mad." Boom. He's like, "I got to coach better." I like it though, man. I mean, it's pretty cool to see how they go day to day, and dealing with the pressure.
The best Brian Kelly quote will always be the coach, talk about your team's exexecution. I'd be in favor of it.
Yeah.
That will always be my favorite Brian Kelly quote.
A little bit of Brian. I think Brian Kelly, when he was at Notre Dame, when he first got there, I didn't really like him. But I think, before he left, I thought he was all right. And you know what? He's a disciplinary. He's hard-nosed. Now everybody's thinking that, or at least they were saying there, we'll see if it works. I think it's so competitive down there. Their defense is immensely talented, but they weren't very good, which is hard to say. They have NFL talent on their defense. They got Perkins. They have the 2 linebackers that are brothers. Was it Weeks? Yeah, both of them are not pretty good.
Weeks is coming off that really gnarly injury.
Yeah, but he's I'm assuming he's going to be healthy. He's a good player. They always got corners and safeties, so I think it's you let for every LSU supposed down year, you see South Carolina, who when you listen to Coach Beamer, their expectations were very low. They played, I think, was it the Citadel the first game, or kind of a lower level team, and they only won by 7 points, and he was like relieved, and he said, I think we got a good football team. And then they showed him after, kind of when they panned away, he was like, woof. But then the next week they beat the brakes off of Kentucky, and then obviously they had a really good year. I haven't got through all of it, but it's really interesting to go through the psyche of it, and see how it is to be in a competitive environment like that, and it's cutthroat.
A couple things from the text line here. 1151 says some of those scrub SEC teams will try to call Nebraska to come fill their stadium. Maybe, could be. Big Bird, I think, has the more interesting thing, though, Jay. Wouldn't Nebraska ultimately not want any SEC team to call? We're going to see, because on the one hand,
they don't need it.
They don't need it.
Yeah.
But will the Big Ten encourage it? Because it's a risk-reward proposition. Do you want to go play SEC teams and lose? Absolutely not. Do you want to go play SEC teams and win? Absolutely. And I think in this day and age of college football, where there's so much posturing, where there's, so much about automatic berth this, automatic qualifier that, I think as fans, we should want more and more of these matchups, right? Nebraska and Auburn have played in bowl games before. Nebraska, South Carolina have played in bowl games before.
Yeah.
Nebraska, Mississippi State, like you brought up, they got a little bit of a basketball history from 5-10 years ago. It's risk reward, but I could see Tony Petitti saying, No, take the
Nah.
games you're more confident in. But I could see the conference also saying, yeah, schedule them and go win, because that improves our brand and our recognition, our brand quite a bit if you win those games.
I like that. I do like that. It might be too much risk. It's like, let's not beat each other up. Let's go beat these other guys up. So
Then you get into the collusion thing.
And
I'm just saying the ACC and the Big 12, as little standing as they have in the popular psyche.
Guess what? Here's what we're going to do to offset that. Generally, you think the SEC would be like, go over there and beat up on the ACC. Now, listen, we'll send my big brother over there. You'll get it, and then you guys get the Big 12. So then, therefore, we incur some travel costs, and we're going to place it. We've never been to Oakland. We've never been in the Big 12 before. That's what they down there. Alabama hasn't been up there to Kansas yet. Iowa State, and smell that aroma,
smell of money, baby.
Smell of money up there. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think when you're a Big Ten team, and particularly Nebraska, all those things, I think now you have to be strategic and win in how you play, or not players, but teams, until you get on like a little bit more sturdy foot on a national footprint. Because in the back of my mind, and I don't know if this is even true, because I have no idea of knowing if this whole conference realignment thing pops, and say the TV money isn't money in, or it doesn't, hit like it's supposed to, a few years down the road, and the expansion of college football playoffs isn't very good, you could see a couple super conferences. Well, then therefore I have to schedule for every scenario in the future, which would be ultimately the super conference. So we're not going to put our necks out there until we are ready to go.
Yeah.
Because we're just not there yet. And that's fine. And you just got it. But you have to make sure that
But you got to be ready at some point. You can't push it off forever.
No, but you got to strategically get there versus trying to go from where we're at to, well, we got to handle our Big Ten business first, or for 3 or 4 years in a row, or however many years in a row, before we go dip down there and try to play Bama.
Yeah.
Now we would do it once every 6 years. I'd be up for something like that.
Once a decade you get a Bama, once a decade you get a Georgia, something like that. Heck
yeah. Like how they do, like Michigan State played North Carolina on the battle, do something like that. Well, you know what? We'll even play at Jerry's World.
Woo! But then when you make the return trip, it's in Kansas City or closer.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Indy, how about, you guys aren't playing there. We'll go play there.
Shoot, why not?
Yeah,
welcome to Big Ten country. This is where we hold our championship games.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Mercedes-Benz.
Or we go play in Vegas or something.
Ooh.
Just make a little trip out.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Tony Petiti, not a Vegas guy, though, Jeff.
I know.
He told us as much.
I know.
He was very upfront about that.
Well, the problem with Tony is I invited him to come with us so I could expose him to 3-card poker and show him Steve Stevens' money management.
Mm-hmm.
And it works out every time.
He's still got that MLB money hitting, though, Jeff.
Yeah, I know.
And that Big Ten money.
Yeah, he asked me what my budget was. He said, that's not even worth my time. he said, you count time. I make time count.
That's what I blow my nose with.
Yeah, exactly. No, just play it. But yeah, it's I'm sure there's a lot of things on the table, but I think the Big Ten is excited that the playing field is a little bit level now. And let's see what happens after. I think if the Big Ten is somehow able to get, a stronghold in the college football playoff right now, it doesn't matter what the SEC does.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the power shift is completely shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And more teams that the Big Ten can get in the top 25, top 30, make some noise in the bowl games, especially when the head-to-head action. I like that they'd be in a good position.
And this is where, with the SEC going to the 9 games, I think and I hope the strength of schedule metric, strength of record starts to go out the window. Because you know why? There's never been any of that in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we know that they're imbalanced schedules. The AFC South ain't the NFC East. The AFC West is not the NFC South. Those two divisions are not created equal, right? We have various other tiebreakers that we use. And I know there are a lot more college football teams, a lot more, potential entrants into the postseason, that you have to have maybe a different way to judge it to a point. But using strength of schedule is so much about your priors.
Yeah.
So little of it is about what you actually saw on the field that year, or at least that's where the conversation has been. This is what we thought about this conference before the year. It's sticking with us. This is their reputation. We're not deviating from that. We need to get to a point, I think, in college football. I'm not saying perfect, copy of the NFL, perfect replica. I doubt that'll ever happen. But we just have to start understanding that, no, these teams aren't playing the same teams. There's not a great way to compare them, which is where I think the AFC NFC format makes a lot more sense entering a playoff bracket compared to, the two power conferences, the two quasi power conferences, throw the Pac-12, as a little floater, in that mix, and then all these group of 5 conferences. The playoff is so convoluted in college, whereas it's so cut and dry and straightforward in the NFL. You don't get down to the nitty gritty very often because you don't have to, because this team won more games. This team won fewer games. If that didn't work out, this team did better head to head, or this team did better in their division or better in their conference, no matter how far you want to go. It's so much simpler, so much more cut and dried in the NFL because it's not subjective.
Yeah.
Because there's not a committee picking these teams. And I'm not fully anti-committee, but as college sports and college football especially continues to professionalize, it's got to understand what works about the NFL system and consider how that could look in college.
Yeah, you're completely right, because the teams that were supposed to be really good last year in the NFL end up, duking down their leg.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want the NFL is like, well, that's your own fault. You're professionals, and so now with these kids getting paid in some form or fashion, not all of them, but a high number of them, and there's a lot of money on the line. It definitely shouldn't be okay. Well, I'm a preseason top 10 team. Like, look at Florida State. They essentially, people were still saying if they got it going, they could get back not in the national title mix, but get back into the top 25 because they started as I think number 8.
Something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, because then you had the excuses of when, you're playing over there and Georgia Tech played great. Then Georgia Tech started to play well, a little bit of a dip. So I like it. I'm okay with preseason rankings, but I'm also, not opposed to where, you let it all play out, because football is a game that there's a lot of uncontrollables, and you never know what other teams and players have done in the offseason. And really, you can't project how well somebody plays. I'm talking about the portal in a new place versus the old place, because they get an opportunity. They might have their mind right. They might be in a better academic support place. They might be close to home. They actually might be far away from home, and so, or they might get a little change in their pocket, and then that gave them that confidence. So teams can get a lot better really, really quick, and you can't allow preseason favoritism, allow preseason favoritism to help a team stay afloat when other teams are swimming on their own.
We're not reeling preseason polls back in, right? That toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, though, the polls that actually count, whether you're looking at the AP poll, the coaches poll, and I like that the college football playoff doesn't put out its rankings until November, essentially, late October into November. In an ideal world, we would have no polls that count, that mean anything. I would say through non-conference, for the first 3, maybe 4 weeks of the season. But obviously, it's a 24/7 content cycle. People need something to talk about. And we're just so bad at taking it with a grain of salt. We take it as fact. We take it as gospel instead of, oh, interesting, this is the opinion of whoever and whoever. But the thing is that there are scientific studies done. You show people something, whether it's true or not, people start anchoring their opinions to that.
And it sticks with them.
And it sticks.
Yeah. That's where I think it you need to go away from it. You can have the preseason polls, but you know what? Like, it should be week to week, a complete reshuffle. Okay, let's think about Oregon last year. Remember, it was Idaho and whoever else really kind of took them to the end of the fourth quarter, right? I think it was, right? They almost got upset by Idaho, right?
I think so.
And then they had the Ohio State game, and then they had the another non-conference, which was a little bit tighter game than people projected. Well, then here you got Indiana beating the brakes off of people. Well, then, should Oregon still, when they weren't playing well? Now, granted, they end up playing very well. Still or not be docked on that? They should be going way down. Now, granted, they can work their way up because the schedule is the schedule. But in Indiana, They were having to put up 70-some points to get people's attention. Then they validated it. Then they really didn't truly get the respect until they beat Nebraska, and that was almost halfway through the season.
I think another good example that we've gone back to time is that Minnesota team that had that really good run. A team like Oregon would probably get the benefit of the doubt. Oh, they're working through something. Oh, they tried it. As opposed to a Minnesota who's not the brand name, who doesn't have the attention, who doesn't have the clicks. That Minnesota team was a legitimate top 10 team that year. They didn't start there. They earned their way there. But if Oregon had struggled against that same schedule, I think there would have been fewer alarm bells than it turned out that there were against that Minnesota team that I think ended the year in the top 10 or certainly reached top 10 before finishing, certainly top 20, if not top 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if you're not a preseason, like let's say top 12 team, it's like you got to keep validating what you do and then all hell breaks loose if you lose. Well, you look at like South Carolina last year, right? An extra 8 points, they're in the college football playoffs. But you got to think every single, like I watched it where Beamer was like, all right, we beat Kentucky. Then it's like, I think they played LSU next, and they almost were playing. It seemed like they had this weird mindset of half of it is like, all right, we know we're a good team. Everybody's doubting us. We're at home. LSU's still the favorite. And then the other side is like, all right, let's just play well enough to keep it close so we validate what we did last week against Kentucky so we can really show people that we're actually better than Kentucky. Where the mindset should be, we're the best team. And Beamer said it. He's like, they're a good team. We're a great team. But that should never, like I guess the thing over your head of like, okay, you're not really that good, or you have to do extra to get the same type of thing, same type of respect as LSU when you obviously played well. And it ended up working out that way, that they end up having a pretty magical season. Now they're in the position that LSU was last year, right? Whereas people come in, maybe get the benefit of the doubt because they know who the quarterback is. They got a really good defensive end. Beamer seems like he's more entrenched in there. And this is go back before we go to break about Oregon. Okay, so they beat Idaho 24-10 or 24-14, right? Then they come back the next week and play against Boise State, which Genty went off 37-34. Now, granted, Boise State ended up being pretty good. They beat the brakes off of Oregon State, beat UCLA only by 21, Michigan State by 21. Whatever you think about the Ohio State game, and then they went on the run, but they weren't dominating.
Yeah.
None of those games were really dominant. And then obviously they met their maker in that bowl game. So anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman, Old School. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Nebraska football opens their season on Thursday, August 28th in Kansas City, and you can be a part of the best pregame tailgate party with Blur Events, live from Kauffman Stadium, home of the Royals. Doors open 4 hours before kickoff with a live DJ promoting interactive competitions and giveaways. Tailgate games like cornhole, flip cup, and beer pong, access to ballpark concessions, and available air conditioning. Book your tickets today at blurevents.com/Kansas City and hang with 93.7 The Ticket on the scene prior to Nebraska versus Cincinnati on August 28th.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevenson Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevenson Smith Construction slams expectations.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hi, I'm Eli Barnes, Assistant Vice President at Midwest Bank at the 70th and Pioneers and 27th and Jamie Lane locations. I love working with families and small businesses right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Banking shouldn't be complicated, and that's why we make it personal. Whether it's opening your child's first account or securing a loan for your next big step, I'm here to help. Stop in today and say hello. I'd love to meet you. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Back to old school with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Second segment, Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman coming in hot once again. Good stuff there with the SEC finally stepping up and doing what everybody else does, playing and leveling the playing field.
To be fair, the ACC does not, but they better not be far behind.
But they don't portray themselves as the overlord of college football.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so
fair enough.
Now jump to some NFL news, Austin. Well, first of all, it's preseason. Now it's the last week or last preseason game. Now, obviously, they've been having joint practices, and obviously the Seahawks and the Packers got after it a little scrap, and I think when I was just finishing up or when I was playing, that was when joint practices kind of just first started, to be more ready, where you joint practice and you pick the team. Now you'll joint practice with almost every team that you play. Sometimes two out of training camp, it'll be two teams versus when I did it was like, all right, we'll do it one. It's like one game.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot of jobs on the line. There's a lot of guys that are gonna, be I guess cut probably for the first time in their career. But obviously the biggest news is that Shedeur Sanders is going to play this week, or this game, excuse me, fresh off of his quarterback mate, Dylan Gabriel, throwing a zinger at him after throwing a pick six and fumble.
The full quote was not about Shedeur.
No, but
that's how it was interpreted. But given the question that he was asked,
yeah,
it makes sense why he answered the way he does. So I want to give Dylan Gabriel a little credit.
I'm not giving him no credit.
I don't think that was pointed to Shedeur. I really don't.
I'm not giving him no credit because number one, you've been at like three schools, right? You think you entitled to something. All right. Number two, that's your teammate, whether you like him or not. You know exactly what you were saying, and it came from smiley face Dan Lanning. You know it.
So you're more mad at Dan Lanning than Dylan Gabriel.
He's just repeating the same things that he said, and I get it. Look, he's competitive, and I like it. He's very confident in himself. He's a good player, and he wants to separate himself and get his just due. But at this point, he needs to be more mad at. Whether it's you can't be mad. You're a third-round pick against, a lot of money, but also you need to probably be mad at the Cleveland Browns. And whether you're Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel, you need to be having constant conversation with your agent to make sure you get in the best spot for your career moving forward. It is not in Cleveland. They are showing you. They don't want either one of you. They don't. Because if they really wanted Dylan Gabriel to develop to be, at worst case, a stopgap starter, you wouldn't have drafted Shedeur.
Right.
And, it came out now where Eric Dickerson it's obviously widely known that it was known that they were trying to teach Shedeur a lesson. Probably would have liked him not to get drafted. Just how petty you can be. And now Cleveland drafted him. They don't really want him because no matter what he does, they financially, you got to give Dylan Gabriel no chance. You got Kenny Pickett that you gave some money to, and you got Joe Flacco. As much as, look, it's always great to get drafted. It is. And this is why I have a problem with Arch Manning. And then it's an honor to get drafted. It's not your right. You are not entitled to anything. But sometimes, especially in the quarterback position, where you get drafted can make or break your whole career.
You didn't say when, you said where.
Yeah.
For a reason.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you want to get drafted early. You got to be, really, let's be honest. If you just take away Shadeur's dad and you just took two quarterbacks out there in blank uniforms, is he better than the guy, your boy in New Orleans?
Probably.
Okay. So,
Odds are good.
right. So, but you like that Mr. T starter kit with that money. But I think when you go to places like Cleveland, unfortunately, your time you're like a piece of meat that just fast forwarded expiration date.
Cleveland hasn't had a franchise quarterback since the 1940s.
Well, they have Bernie Kosar.
Okay, fine.
That's it.
We'll count Bernie.
Yeah, but that's it. But this new age of doing it, I think it's like there's value at Shedeur, right? Because you number one, if he does play, you're going to put butts in the stands. Number two, he could eventually be a backup. Number three is providing competition, for Dylan Gabriel and whoever's, kept on the team. But there wasn't a plan. It's no different than the Atlanta Falcons. You pay Kirk Cousins all this money and you draft Michael Penix in the first round. You just doubled down. You just said it. You just made a huge $100 million mistake. There's no don't because
$100 million guaranteed.
Yeah, because Michael Penix was a good college quarterback. He's not legendary to where you're like, okay, he's here. We have to take him.
Right.
He doesn't have the futuristic arm talent like Patrick Mahomes. Like, all right, then we'll keep him on the no matter what happens. Like in Kirk Cousins had been 3 years into his contract. We're handing the reins over. You drafted this dude. They both got there at the same time.
Same year.
Kirk Cousins finally moved down from Minnesota right when Michael Penix got off the jet.
Well, Kirk got 4 years.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Let's not forget that. Guess how long the rookie contracts are, Jay? 4 years with a 5th-year option.
Yeah. And
they're on the same timeline.
And aren't the first round guaranteed?
I think so.
Yeah. So now you can't big bank them either. Kirk Cousins, if I was Kirk Cousins, man, I would be sitting back chilling, just working on my game, getting healthy.
Waiting for Indy to trade for me in week 7.
Being the best mentor you can be. Because there's no way you can go back to him. No matter what Raheem Morris says, there's no way you can go back to Kirk Cousins. There's no way you can go back to Anthony Richardson. Which also, now let's get on him. What's your Colts? Now, you benched him and say, now,
twice.
Right. And then you're not going to play him. So now you can't even. So
got to keep him safe just in case.
Keep him safe. So because his agent was like, let him play so he can go somewhere else.
The guy that needs reps, you're not going to play to keep him safe.
So, now I'm going to ask you this, Austin. Who really made the decision? Because if the organization and or Steichen have truly turned the page on Anthony Richardson, you play him. I know that for a fact. You play him because you want to show. It's kind of like what 49ers did with last year with Trey Lance. Then he ended up in Dallas. So if you're trying to get somebody to trade for him, you play him. You don't put him you don't protect him like he's a starter. So what, you're massaging his feelings now? Well, you already ruined his mental makeup 2 days ago.
Right.
Yeah, you ain't starting.
I was going to say that, the Colts drafting Anthony Richardson was like going skydiving or like bungee jumping or, cliff diving or something like that. But I think that's a bad example because I don't think this Anthony Richardson mistake is going to, kill the Colts.
No.
Right. They have an off ramp from it. which is where maybe I'll go more like the Tony Hawk skateboarding example, maybe, right? You want to do, a double flip. To do that, you got to be bold. You got to just go for it. You got to be committed to it. You're trying to do a backflip, whatever. Well, if you decide halfway through, I'm not so sure about this, you're in your approach steps, you're getting ready to jump, and then you're not committed to it anymore, well, you're going to hurt yourself.
Right.
It's not going to go well. The Colts committed to a plan, to a trick with Anthony Richardson that they should have known they had to be committed to from the jump. And they had to commit to it the whole way through. One thing goes wrong, one moment of hesitation in this plan, it's absolutely not going to work out. The only way it might work out is if you're fully committed to it, you see it through. You try it, year one, okay, he gets hurt, fine. You come back year two, okay, he's going to be healthy this year. We're going to keep him safe. We're going to play more to his strengths and develop him. Can't do anything about the injury. How do we prevent it in the future? You give another try year two. First try failed. We'll see who's to blame. But instead of being 100% convicted in their plans, it's like the Colts getting up to the edge of the diving board, maybe, right? And saying, I'm not sure if I want to jump. And then instead of, jumping and going for it, they slipped off the ledge. They bumped their shoulder on the way down. So now not only are they embarrassed, they have a little bit of pain back in the shoulder and not going to do the whole diving board thing again. So I don't know who ultimately made the decision. A lot of people made a lot of wrong decisions. It will still baffle me until the end of the saga and until the Colts have their next franchise quarterback that's going to put the AFC South in the dust. It's going to baffle me that the Colts made this decision and then realized they didn't have the guts to actually go for it like they said they did.
I think it sounded good, and like I said, you're in there with Jim Irsay on some nice, expensive cognac,
cognac.
whatever. It's a wine, and you're having steak and lobster, and you start telling Jalen Hurts stories. I'm serious.
I laughed.
What are we looking at? And you start putting up Jalen Hurts stories, and then you flip on that Florida-Wisconsin game. It's like, this is easy. And then you get it. It's like, this is a different situation. And I hate it for him because, his career is in flux. Now, granted, he could go and play kind of like Young did down in Carolina, and then now I think Young has a little bit more power, because I think if Young has another year and he don't really like the coach, he can go to Mr. Richardson, or not Mr. Richardson, but
Tepper.
Tepper, or go to Tepper's wife and say, "Hey, look, man, you gotta get this dude up out of here."
Right.
I'm your franchise quarterback. You picked me for a reason. Get this dude up out of here. So it's never over, but I just hate it for him. I guess I'm a little bit more empathetic to quarterbacks not having the right support. Now, the right support, because I saw David Carr go through it. I felt like David was a good teammate. I think at first, I think he was learning how to be a leader. These are all the things that Anthony Richardson, how to be a leader, how to make sure that you're around and accessible during the off season. When we have team kind of events or do stuff in the off season, you have to make the sacrifice. You got to be there. I think David Carr started to do more of that, but you didn't have everything else around you, so you're successful on the field.
That's the other tricky part. Whether it comes to a coach or a quarterback in this case, you don't just earn the reps because you got drafted. Like you said, it's not a right that you have those reps. You still got to earn them. Did Anthony Richardson have complete and total support the way he needed to be successful? Absolutely not. I will not argue otherwise. But then, Jay, you start to hear the, not bad behavior concerns, but maturity concerns, right? The lack of preparation concerns. And then it leads you to wonder, even if the Colts made their own fair share of missteps, Anthony Richardson did too, was he deserving of the reps? Was he deserving of the right, the privilege really to be an NFL starting quarterback? I still think it would have been best for the Colts to play him, see what they have, be, fully committed to the plan. But you've talked about being a professional. If he's not going to lead that locker room in a professional way, and you have to sell that message to 52 other guys, this is your leader, this is who we're pinning the franchise on, yeah, you should have drafted the guy to play him. But as much as you have to be worthy of and create the infrastructure for him to play in, he's got to earn the right and the privilege to be the NFL starter, on his own. It sounds like the Colts let him down, but Anthony Richardson didn't exactly live up to full billing either.
Yeah, and there wasn't any, be honest with you, Austin, there ain't no billing for him to live up to. He was garbage in college. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Tell him, Jay.
He was garbage in college. I'm gonna read these stats to you. Okay. Now my
17 and 8, Jay.
He was a great athlete. There's no doubt about it. 176 completions, 327 attempts, 53.8 completion percentage. That ain't doing nothing for me. For a total of 2,549 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's all I gotta see. That's all. I seen it all.
He still had a more successful pro career than Will Levis, though.
Will Levis guy. Will Levis. Will Levis's stuff didn't start all right with his draft day and who he was there with. You know what I'm saying? Just because, but I think Will Levis again is a perfect story. You probably leave a year early when Wandell leaves. You come back. Now you know you're not on the same good team, and
Right.
so man, you got. I mean, look at
Jay, they're bad stats. It's not good.
I didn't really pay attention to the deal. He had no business going. Listen, more power to him. You ask whether he come back or not. You do never come back here. Matter of fact, if I'm the coach, don't you come back here.
That's $34 million.
Yeah, don't come back here. You don't have. I would say you ain't starting.
We gave your spot away.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we got Graham Mertz. You ain't starting because you got to get him out of there, man. And so, anyways, a lot going on preseason tonight. Football this weekend. Saturday, you got a game. Then obviously Huskers will be about 4 or 5 days away. Start it next week. But we're going to take a quick break, come back, put a bow on this Thursday. Jay Foreman, Austin Oerman. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Oerman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Lincoln's go-to for fun isn't new. It's a place that's been a staple of the city for years and is only getting better. Matson's Bowling and Billiards always has open bowling available with no long lines, unlike other centers. They have live music almost every weekend and great food at EJ's Bar and Lounge, with seating for 150 people. They have popular meals like the EJ Burger, pizza for the whole family, and famous EJ's Wings. Contact Sarah to book a party for friends, coworkers, or family at Matson's Bowling and Billiards just south of 48th and Holdridge.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Oerman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. Quick segment here before we turn it over to Ticket Weeknights. Got Emma Spence, and not sure who she has on, but she always does a really good job. Preseason is popping. I saw they showed Russell Wilson walking in. That's going to be an interesting outcome come training camp. Who's going to be the starter, the backup, and where Jackson Dart ends up. I think tonight would be a game that you let Jackson Dart play the whole game, him and DeVito. More because you're not going to play that. I mean, because really Brian Dable, whose job's on the line, you start Russell. If Russell doesn't play well, you go to Jameis. You don't leapfrog Jameis to go to Jackson Dart.
No.
So then this is where you can actually see how he can really handle a big playbook, a lot of playing time, and throw him out there. And it's a great learning experience for him.
Yeah.
And if he does well, then you know you can continue to work on things and add more, even though he's not getting the practice reps. You can still get him in the meeting reps. It's a great opportunity for. I think he's in a great position. Being a first-round pick, now you're not in a great position because you have the GM and the head coach on the hot seat. But as far as getting into a position where you have veteran leadership, where you can actually see guys that are professionals and learn. And then when you get your chance, you're more, along the professional line. I think that's a great situation for him.
Not going to hurt. How does he handle New York? And here's the other part, the Brian Dable question.
That's it.
That's a lot. I mean, Brian Dable has been good for a quarterback in his past, right? Yeah. Brian Dable was fantastic for Josh Allen. But Brian Dable's coaching for his job or close to it this year. You would think a guy like Russ, maybe Jameis could handle that a little bit better. That's a lot to put on a rookie to come in and save your coach's job. So how do you help him navigate that?
In your mind, real quick, before we get off here, how many wins does he need, Brian Dable, to be the Giants coach next year? 8?
I was going to say 7 or 8. Yeah. I mean, 7 would be a step in the right direction, but 7 and 10.
And they got to be way better.
A pesky 7 and 10. You're going to need to see some real signs of improvement, I think, offensively, because I feel relatively confident about the defense.
Defense feels like good, I think, offensively, and I think you got to get, be steady, get their 6 or 7, and then go to the ownership and say, listen, I'm starting a rookie, and then you get that kind of, we're retaining them for next year.
Here's my plan. Here's the reps you got.
Guy, and this is why we're doing it. We're not making the playoffs, but this is going to help us in the future.
But we're building.
Yeah. So, anyways, good stuff as always. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. We'll holler at you tomorrow. Again, listen to Ticket Weeknights, Emma Spence. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
No cravings, no hunger pains, no struggle. Thanks to GLP-1s from Limitless